Alright, what's going on, guys? Anyways, not feeling the best today, still gonna do this video. Also, thank you to my computer for the last time when I was recording this, literally just shutting the fuck off, and thank you, phone, for going off. Just shutting off in the middle of the recording. I really appreciated that, computer. Man, everything's just going the fuck off on me right now. Anyways, I haven't done a storytime video in a pretty long time up until this point, so I know you guys kind of enjoy these. I mean, there's been a lot of people asking me when the next one's coming out and everything, and I've been saying that I'm going to do one tomorrow for a couple days now. And I've been planning to do one for a long time, even longer than that, but I just never really got around to it. I prioritized the gaming videos and stuff over them because these just aren't what my channel is built around, so I don't know, I think we should set a goal. If this video gets like 1,000 likes or something, I'll put out another story time relatively soon, like I mean the next week and a half. So if we can get 1,000 likes on the video, I will go ahead and push out another one. So I mean, this video alone, I had like 5 different stories that I had kind of bounced around the idea of telling, but I think this one is a good one to just kind of come back with and talk about. So anyways, let's get into this. Grab your popcorn and your water. We're on that healthy shit, low butter, low fat, all that, you know what I'm saying? We're on that healthy shit around this side of town, boy. And, listen in. So, anyways, this is like 6th grade, man, and this is right when all these shootings and stuff, like, kind of start really popping off, you know? Around that time, like, we had Sandy Hook go down, and then just a few months later, actually, we had the Boston Marathon bombing, so, like, all these big terrorist events, all these big shootings, all these huge tragedies and stuff, they really start kind of taking off right around this time. Schools had become more and more of a target for these attacks, and just horrible shit was going down like all around us, right? And every time, especially as little kids, man, you turn on the TV and you see this stuff, you get scared to go to school, you know? When you see that even an elementary school isn't safe from the wraths of the Eugenes, as Birdman would say, you know, it's sad, and you're afraid to go. But, you know, we went and everything, of course. I wasn't going to drop out over some shit going on across the country, but my dad would have equipped the brawler perk and beat the shit out of me. Anyway, you know, like I said, we were just scared. Everything was going down right around that time. And, you know, we were just kids. I mean, we were probably 12 years old, 13 at the oldest. So, you know, we're not really all there. We're not developed enough to kind of understand what's really going on in the world. We didn't understand politics to that, you know, extreme yet. I mean, we talked about like little topics and shit, and most of the time we were just trolling and stuff anyways, and social studies, so we didn't really know what was all going on. So we're sitting here in school one day, and we're in the library, which is at my school, or at my old elementary slash middle school, basically this long-ass rectangle room where there's this door, and it's on the farthest right side, and pretty much all the books and tables and study shit is right there. And then there's, on the wall, there's a long row of just bookshelves. And then on the other wall, which is the farthest wall from the door, I'll put a diagram on the screen and shit. These are just windows. They overlook pretty much the front yard of the school. You can see the front parking lot. You can see the bend where people and traffic flow down through. And you can see the street as you look out farther, and the stuff across the street, of course. It's 3 stories off the ground, so you can see pretty much everything out in front of you, so as shit starts really going down, I guess you could say, you know, we're pretty much full witness to all this. So we're just chilling out in the library one day, and I think this is actually during social studies, because when we didn't have shit to do in social studies, our really cool, actually, shout out to our social studies teacher. I don't think I should say his name, because I'm not trying to, like, dox him or anything, but shout out to this dude. Every time we didn't have, like, actually something to do in social studies, especially on Friday, we would go to the library and we would just play card games, and we would play Monopoly. We would just play random board games and shit. Fun way to pass the time. Classes in middle school were actually longer than in high school, so we're in there for like 55 minutes. So we, you know, weren't just trying to sit there for 55 minutes. So we would just go to the library and we would just hang out. You know, it was pretty cool, and I really enjoyed that. A lot of good memories from middle school, actually. And I know some of the people I went to middle school and shit with watch these videos, so shouts out to you too. Anyways, so we're just chilling out there, and then all of a sudden over the intercom, you know, they just announce, you know, okay, the school's in lockdown, you need to lock all the doors, you need to cover the window, you need to get into the corner of the room that you're supposed to get into, because I don't know how, I'm not in school anymore, I don't know how schools are now, but at this time the plan was basically to make the room the least enterable, I guess, that it could be, and then you get into the farthest, most concealed, actually, corner from that door, and you just huddle together, basically hoping they didn't kick the door in, because if they did, they had like 40 people just sitting there in a big ball, just waiting to get fucking just destroyed. So we follow through with the plan, and at the time, the windows hadn't been covered yet, so all we can see out front, because the fire station is literally like 3 properties down, I guess is the best way to say it. There's like a business, then a street, and then the firehouse. And the police were already pretty much there. Like, they had their shit going, you know? It was within like 3 minutes that these fools were here. So all we see out front is all these fucking flashing lights, and we're scared to death now, you know? Like, the lights are completely off. We're sitting pretty much huddled together in this corner, in lockdown. The teachers even freaked out. Like, everyone in the library, even like I said, the faculty, the librarian, the teacher, they don't know what's going on. So it's probably not a drill. And these cops are just, you know, flooding the building. So we're like, oh, great, you know, who pushed the freak show a little bit over the board, and now he's fucking spraying the school up, right? We're all scared shitless now. We're all sitting here just fearing for our lives, you know? And it's crazy, too, because there's nothing on. Nothing. Complete silence except for, you know, some whispers and giggles, because like I said, we're in middle school. Some kid probably said penis really quietly in the back of the pack, and like 8 kids just, it was the funniest thing they've ever heard. And we knew that something was wrong for real when that happened, when someone started laughing, when the teacher snapped that neck around and just stared. We were like, oh shit, you know, this is for real. This is no longer a joke. And anyways, this is when it starts getting real serious. And it's like 15 minutes at this point. They finally closed the windows because obviously they didn't want us freaking out at all the cops and stuff that were out front. We're hoping that whoever or whatever is the problem in the school is not about to kick in the library door. The only windows that weren't blocked, okay, once again, I'll pull the diagram back up. This is a weird built library, I'd say. So this corner that we're sitting in, literally on the wall next to us, is a whole line of windows that goes to the computer lab. The computer lab is another small little square at the end of the library with its own door, and it's basically just this circle of computers in there. Like, it goes all the way around the wall and wraps out. And there's a door into the library, too. So, if this freak wanted to not, you know, have to kick through the library door and... because, I mean, they know what corner we're in. If he doesn't want to kick in this door and walk all the way across the library, this fool's literally just kicking in the computer room, kicking in the door to the library, or knocking these windows out, you know... we're screwed at that point. So we're just looking at this, freaking out, right? And there's nothing to cover the windows at all. And then we hear a scream, and we're like, oh, perfect. Some kid is out in the hallway screaming, just screaming at the top of his lungs. And we're like, well, this is it, you know? So after hearing the scream, we heard nothing else. And we're just like, oh, well, rest in peace, you know? And we're sitting here for like another 20 minutes. At this point, it's been like 40 minutes of us in this pitch black room with faint sirens coming through what is blowing through of the window from the covers and stuff. So we're all sitting here hoping that the police have handled the situation as we hear screaming from the hallway, and the teachers are panicking and freaking out too. Finally, they go ahead and call the lockdown off, and oh my god, I've never felt almost ever in my life more relief than I did at that moment. Like, I have never feared for my life more than I did probably at that moment, especially like when that kid starts screaming out in the hallway. That to me was like the church bell ringing, you know, because I was assuming that he was like screaming because he saw the fucking juggernaut from MW3 coming down the hallway or something, you know. But thankfully there was no shooter. There wasn't anything like that. What ended up happening was actually kind of stupid, okay? So we had a couple female employees at the school, actually a decent amount, a lot more than we had that I could remember in elementary. The only female teachers and stuff I thought I ever had in elementary were the ones that I actually had. But one of the female employees who wasn't a teacher, I guess, I can't remember where exactly she worked in the school, but she had recently went through like a breakup or a divorce with her husband or something. And then this freak show shows up unannounced at the school, like ready to either kill her or beat her ass or something. Like, this freak showed up to the school ready to do something. Obviously, he was not supposed to be there. I mean, they did not invite this fool into the school, right? And this, I think, is before they even had, because like after Sandy Hook especially, like the year after that, they had like a security team come through. They put locks and I think bulletproof glass on all of the doors, and they had these like cameras that you had to press a button to like phone in with the secretary or something so they could see if you were like a parent or something to come in. I'm pretty sure this was before all of that. So this fool literally could just walk up into the school, and he got in there, was causing a scene, the police showed up. I'm pretty sure he got arrested for that. I mean, they didn't know what this freak was here to do. This guy's a psychopath, obviously. He just shows up at this shit ready to get it cracking over something. So, yeah, that was the time that I thought I was going to be killed in a school massacre, and it turns out that it was because some dude was mad that his girl broke up with him, so he showed up at her work ready for that action. So, one of the scariest moments of my life, though, Jesus. It just, innocent kid going from Monopoly to, am I dying in a massacre today? You know, within the matter of like 30 seconds. It was quick. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here. Tell me any crazy, similar stories or anything that you have down below. Make sure that if you want another story time here soon, we get this video to 1,000 likes. Follow me on Twitter at @subtooptimus. Join the Discord down below. Thank you to my channel members who you see on the screen right now. If you'd like to become a channel member for $5 a month and get 5 exclusive perks plus chat badges and more, make sure to do so at the link down below. It helps support my content, especially since this video will probably be demonetized. I would be shocked if this video stayed monetized at all. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, hiding in the back corner, fearing for his life. And what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And I know you don't have to say anything, but yeah, I've been slacking with the storytime videos recently, and I need to not do that. And I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know, man. I get focused on everything else, but I wanted to come back and do another one, and I wanted to do one that wasn't like one of the fast food horror story videos or something like that. And I also wanted to do one that wasn't me like refixing one of my older ones that was just horrible, because the old ones that I made, I didn't like the quality of them, but I wanted to do a brand new one. That way we could get something fresh up here on the channel with this series and kind of continue it, keep it fresh, and make sure that, you know, I'm not neglecting this series as well. So it's pretty sad that I have so many stories from school lockdowns, but yeah, I grew up in the United States. They're pretty common, unfortunately, especially in the 21st century. It's pretty common to have your school go into lockdown, especially for like violent stuff, which is weird. But I know a lot of you are international viewers, and the thought of, you know, a school getting sprayed up by somebody or a bomb threat, something like that, that's not really something that you would think of. That's not something that like society really fathoms, because it's just not really that common. But unfortunately here in the United States, that's a very unfortunate part of our society, is that it's a pretty common thing going on right now. So yeah, when I was growing up, man, that was when that was all kind of taken off. And well, I mean, when I was like first starting school, it wasn't really all that common. And then like right when I started hitting elementary school, that's like when Virginia Tech happened, and then there was like a few smaller ones. And then once I really got into middle school, it was like, I don't know, it just like, it got huge. I don't understand that. It was crazy, but I don't know. When I was young, it wasn't something that we ever really worried about. Like, I don't remember that many lockdown drills or anything when I was really young. But then, you know, once we were in middle school and there was like a bunch of really like big national tragedies, they were pretty much everywhere. But the one that we're going to be talking about today, this is part 2 of the school lockdown mini story series here, is essentially going to be taking place my junior year of high school. Now, this is when I went to trade school, so I was no longer actually like in a public quote-unquote high school. I mean, it was still a public high school, but it wasn't like a public high school in like a traditional concept. Like, you had to, I don't know, you had to like fill out paperwork and get accepted to go to this school, but it was still like a public high school. It wasn't really private, you know, it wasn't like a real private strict school or anything like that. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. It was borderline private. It was weird. This school was like right on the border of this ghetto area too, so this is why this story even takes place really in the first place, is that it's right here on this bordered area. Like, there's literally a line. There's a fence on one side of the school that's just a bunch of apartment complexes all the way down the entire school. And then on the other side of the school, it's just literally nothing. There's just nothing there, and the school is right there. It's the border, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to this school, there was nothing really going on that I would say really worried me until this school lockdown. I mean, we never really had to worry about anything going on, you know. Nobody was really worried about anything. There was no, like, you never had, like, gangs, you know, overrunning the school or anything like that. It wasn't crazy in it like that, so most of the time we were alright. But yeah, this was my junior year, and it was like December when this happened, so it was snowing outside, it was weird, because that's like one of the weird details that I remember. Like, you know, I was outside when this happened, when this whole thing really broke down. So this is like a multi-building campus, which to me was weird because when I went to public high school, and I did go back for my senior year, it was just all in one big building. Like, it was a huge high school, and this was like multiple buildings. So when I had different classes, I had to walk between different buildings, which I did not like, especially in the winter when it was, especially here in the Midwest, man, it gets really freezing cold. Like, the temperature drops really quick, especially, oh my god. It'll just, especially in the winter, it gets bad. It'll drop real quick. The ice will build up and you'll be busting your ass, and the snow will build up real quick. You gotta walk through all that, trudge through that. Not really fun. So walking outside wasn't cool. Now I was walking with 2 people, and the thing is this pathway is like 40 feet away from this fence line of these ghetto apartment buildings, okay? And you can see everything on the other side of this fence line. Like, there's some trees that kind of block the view, but you can see distinctively like what's going on in at least 2 or 3 of these parking lots. And there's always something going down over there, man. There's always police in this area, just not known as a particularly safe place to be. Well, we were walking, and we're walking down this pathway, and it's covered, thankfully, so there's not too much ice. And we're just talking, right? We're probably halfway down this pathway to the next building, and it's not super far. It's probably only like 150 feet. It's not even really that far to get to this other building. It's not like we gotta go a half mile to get to this other building or anything. So I'm going to English class by the time that this is all going down. This is 3rd period that we're going into, so it's only like 9 o'clock. It's like 9:15 by the time this is all going down. It isn't really that late in the day. So we get inside this building, and it's like there's an ID system to even get in and out of these buildings, which I guess would be a good thing if something was going down. But then again, if someone was doing something, I mean, they would probably have an ID anyway, so we would probably be in trouble. But we all get inside the building, and guess what? We're in lockdown by the time the period is starting. So, you know, now this is where the fear becomes extremely real for me. Now, here's the problem. Here is the problem, folks. Your boy Optimus sat with his friend, his good buddy here, literally right at the windows. And these windows, guess exactly where they face. They face the apartment complexes. If this person is doing something, the first people they see from the outside is Optimus. And literally the entire English class on the 2nd floor of this building. So, because like the 1st floor it's weird. It's like halfway underground, halfway not. I don't know. It's a weird design. It's so hard to explain. But the first people they're gonna see is us. And that scares the ever-living shit out of me. So, I'm sitting here wondering what's about to happen. And, you know, they're trying to get us to focus in on English. The teacher's, okay, I know everything's going on, everyone's all scared, you need to focus in, everything's gonna be fine. No, not everything is going to be fine. You do know, like, the history of what's been going on in the country, right? Like, it's not like this is a rare occurrence for something like this to happen, so I don't know, it was really weird. Now, when I went into this class anyway, the only thing I would do, and I mean literally the only thing I would do, is listen to music. That's all I would do, so I automatically wasn't listening to a word she was saying. And I was just sitting here just trying my hardest to ignore what was going on, because I was just trying to get away from the issue. I was like, please make sure that this isn't actually happening. And we sat there that entire class period just terrified. We didn't hear any police sirens, which was weird because you would think, you know, oh hey, the school's in lockdown. Yeah, I didn't see any cops or anything like that. That started to worry me really quickly, like what was going on here? Are we getting a 1-star GTA response, or is there going to be a 5-star GTA response? What's going on? I don't know, but I was getting pretty scared because there was nothing. Eventually they gave us the all clear and everything to kind of, I guess, leave class and go on to the next one. Now my next class was guided study anyway, which in there literally all I did was listen to music, read, play flash games on the computer, talk with my friends. I actually made some of my older YouTube videos in that period, which is pretty funny to think back on, but I used to bring my old laptop in there and play some of the older Call of Duty games on campaign. That's all I did in there, so I mean, it was shortened and I was kind of mad about that because I couldn't have my time to screw off for the day. But at the same time, I also wasn't killed, so that was pretty cool, and it did turn out that we did figure out what was going on. So essentially, some guy in this apartment complex was walking around outside with a gun, literally, you know, just a couple of feet, basically, from this school. where a bunch of people are walking around outside, and that kind of boded a problem because of obvious reasons, and well, yeah, that put the school into lockdown, and the police came and everything over there into the apartment complex to check everything out. Of course, nobody at the school really knew what was going on because, well, they didn't tell us, like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a dude with a gun hanging out in the apartment complex, so everyone in that English class over there, go ahead and look out the window, you'll see what's going on right over there. That wasn't really what was going on, so that's basically what happened. Yeah, it put the school into lockdown, and it was pretty scary because nobody had any clue what was going on, but yeah, that was essentially what happened. This wasn't the reason that I ended up leaving the school. I'll probably talk about that in a future story time. I do want to reiterate that while I can't speak in this video, so yeah, this wasn't the reason that I left the school. I know people might be like, oh, this has to be the reason that he left the school, because I know some people probably would take that as a reason to leave, but no. There was never like another major incident or anything after that, believe it or not. But with that being said, yeah, that's the second school lockdown story I have for you guys. I probably have a couple more that I can give you guys that are pretty decent. I have like 7 or 8 that I can remember, but you know, like 3 or 4 of them were pretty uneventful. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel, follow me over on Twitter at @Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below, lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members, your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, sitting through school lockdown. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So, I guess with all this other stuff going on, you know, I've been trying to bring back story times a little bit here on the channel. I know a lot of you guys like those. They have kind of like a cult following, I guess, in my audience, and I enjoy making them, so I've been making a lot more of them recently to kind of, I guess, satisfy that. So this is going to be part 3 of the school lockdown series, which is an unfortunate series of stories that I have. But as an American, man, you know, you seem like here in the United States, right? Like if you go to school in the modern day, you end up with more school lockdowns than you really should have to deal with. I mean, you really should never have to deal with any of them. But I mean, here in the United States, it seems like if you go to school, like public school especially, you have so many of these school lockdown stories that you could make like a Netflix original series with them. Which is kind of sad to say, man, because even though this is part 3, right? This is the 3rd video I've made about a school lockdown. I have several other school lockdown stories, right? So like, I don't know, we really need to get it together here, but this one takes place in the freshman year of high school for me, which was a pretty pivotal year. So a little bit of backstory here. This takes place, actually, it starts and pretty much finishes in choir class, okay? Now, I'm going to keep it a $150 here. I hated choir, okay? I fucking hated choir. It was so unenjoyable, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I love music, I love singing, I love acting a fool, okay? Which is what choir really entails. But I did not like choir class, okay? Choir class, it just wasn't, there was something about it that wasn't for me. I don't know if it was the fact that I didn't want to sing the music we sang for choir or what it was. I did not like it. But this takes place in choir class, okay? And this is towards the end of the year too, so it's starting to get a little bit warm and everything. Now, the unfortunate part about all this really is that this was a very hot room, okay, in the school. My school did not have air conditioning when I went, so in the summer, it was like 30 degrees hotter inside the building than it was outside, which in Ohio, right, it gets really hot during the summer, and it gets really cold during the winter, okay? It's like the worst of both worlds, okay? Extreme weather, 24/7, absolutely no reason, that's Ohio. But this is towards the end of the year, and we're sitting in choir class, you know, singing, doing our thing. And I remember that day, I was particularly in trouble because I kept dicking off. I kept talking to the people around me because, I mean, to be fair, the choir teacher literally sat me next to like 3 of my best friends at the time. I'm not really sure what this fucking chick thought was gonna happen, right? I don't know if she thought that like I was gonna be quiet. I was not gonna be quiet. I was talking, I was being an ass, I may have been disrupting class, sure, but imagine the shock on everyone's face when the real disruption to class is an announcement over the intercom, okay, that the school is investigating a bomb threat, and now the police are here and the school's in lockdown. So we're sitting here, you know, oh yeah, music, singing and shit. Next thing you know, the intercom cuts on. Attention all students here at Optimus High School. I just want to let you guys know, we are currently in a lockdown while the bomb squad investigates the fucking bathroom. Somebody said they were going to blow the school up, and now, yeah, we're going to be taking a look through there. So please stay shelter in place in all your classes, and hopefully we don't all get completely fucking squad wiped. So, yeah, being like 14, that wasn't really a very reassuring thing to hear, that we possibly were going to be fucking blown up in a massive explosion.
So we're all sitting here, man, and it feels like we're all waiting to die, which sounds really sad and morbid, but it really did feel that way, at least to me, right? Like, I'm just sitting here, and like every thought that's going through my brain is like, this could be the last second before I'm blown up in a tragic explosion. This could be the last second before I'm blown up in a tragic explosion. And every second, you know, the last one gets invalidated because you didn't get blown up in a tragic explosion, but guess what? They still haven't called you out of lockdown yet, so at first, we were all struck with absolute confusion, fear, and just blatant confusion, I guess is the best way to put it. And while we're all sitting here wondering whether or not they're going to defuse the fucking bomb site in time and get us a round-winning and search and destroy, the choir teacher snaps us all back to attention to continue singing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, motherfucker, are you for real? You're telling me that somebody literally planted B-site up in the... Okay, so to explain this, right? We're in the choir room, okay? It's hot. It's muggy in that motherfucker. There's like that sound canceling carpet above it so the rest of the school doesn't have to hear us suck. It's like 92 degrees outside. We're like 3 weeks from school ending. They're talking about we might all be blown the fuck up in the next couple of seconds, right? And we're talking about get back to work in class, right? And I'm sitting here like, no. And so I walked out of school at the end. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, the choir teacher is like, hey, let's get back to singing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, are you for fucking real? Like, I'm just sitting here imagining, right, like a class full of boys in choir, right, singing our hearts out, not doing very well, and you just hear, and the fucking ceiling collapses in on us. Like, come on, man. But to go back to what I was saying, right, like, we're in this choir room, it's all the way at the end of a hallway, and it's up some stairs, and then it's like a main hallway, and the men's bathroom is like 300 feet away, right? So, if fucking T-Side really did push all the way through and plant at this site, and this was like a legit explosive, we're not talking about someone putting a firecracker in a soda can or something. It's basically fucking leveling all of the ceiling above us, right? It's leveling everything like north. So that's not a very comforting thought, right? Like you're sitting here trying to hit those fucking bass notes or whatever, right? And you're just sitting here like, well, any second now I'm about to just get fucking, I'm gonna hear the announcer, terrorists win. And we're all fucked, right? So we're sitting here and most of us are nervously singing. I'm being dead silent because I just don't care. And I think the teacher eventually realized this because it was getting towards the end of what would have been the end of the class period. And she's like, you know what, fuck it, let's work on music theory or whatever. She hands us some shit to like to scale notes with and whatnot to like practice. And we're all sitting there doing that, right? Playing on our phones. This was when Madden Mobile was actually huge. I don't know if you guys remember that or if it's still popular. But I was playing Madden Mobile with some homies in class, and we're all just sitting here like, you know, we could die any moment. Like, and I know that's morbid and sad, but like, we're all just like prepared, you know what I'm saying? And it was like 45 minutes before anything, and we're just sitting here like, yo, are they ever gonna let us out? And this is towards the end of the day, so like, I wanna go home too. And there was only like 40 more minutes left in the entire day, so we're sitting here like, so we've already missed a whole other class period, basically. And school will be out any minute now. Can you guys figure out whether or not somebody decided they wanted to kill everybody? Or like what's going on with that, right? So a few more minutes pass and then we get the all clear over the intercom. And I gotta tell you, that was one of the biggest sighs of relief I've ever heard collectively. Not only could we get out of this fucking toaster oven that we were sitting in, but we weren't all going to be completely demoed, okay? So yeah, I mean, I don't know why that's such a common problem here in the United States. It kind of sucks. The fact that assholes unironically will just be like, yeah, let's call the school and say we're blowing this bitch up today. But yeah, someone decided to do that. I'm not sure why. I'm not even sure they ever caught who did it, okay? I don't remember them ever catching who was responsible for that one. There was like 3 other bomb scares, and they found out who did that in pretty much all of those, right? But in this one, apparently they just couldn't fucking figure it out. I don't know. Apparently we had the Zodiac killer call the school or something, but I don't know, quick little story. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, not blown up, and signing out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at something completely stupid, absolutely unnecessary. It's another one of these situations where people just, I feel like they get ahead of themselves a little bit and they just act ignorant for the sake of being ignorant. Now, especially here in the United States, since the pandemic started, we've seen kind of like this division in the country about masks. Masks, which I feel like should not be a topic that people are really divided on. has become like a political concept, right? Like, just because I'm going to be pro-mask in this video, people are going to dislike it. And they're going to be mad that I took that stance, which is absolutely insane to me that people care that much, but we've seen kind of like these pro-mask versus anti-mask clashes happening ever since the pandemic once again started, and this is an example of one of them that, honestly, it should have never happened, obviously, but how do you put yourself in this position, man? How do you put yourself in this situation and like, think that you're in the right, think that you're being cool? I don't know. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into the video.
Fuck the man! Fuck nigga, and I got corona. Yeah, what's up?
All right, these three lovely ladies in the back seat definitely very giving off some intelligent vibes. We got one screaming as loud as she can for literally no fucking reason other than to, I guess, hype up her friend who's being just as if not more ignorant than her. The one in the middle is being quiet, so I'm not gonna go at her case too much here yet. You know, she so far she's the best of the three. It's starting to look to me a little bit like this one has something to prove for some reason, and I hate when people feel like they've got something to prove over something so petty. Like, this chick probably just doesn't feel good about herself, and so she's taking it out on this guy trying to make an honest living. This guy, Subhakar, from what I understand, is an Uber driver in San Francisco while this whole thing took place, and he asked them to put on masks while in the car. Obviously, we're in a global pandemic. Very deadly virus, you know, it's killed a lot of people going around right now. It's like, what do you have to prove? You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to show? You trying to show that you're cool to your friends here, who are probably just as stupid as you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you trying to prove? You're proving, what, that you're an asshole? That you're inconsiderate? Look, if you're anti-mask, I really don't care. You know, that's your right to believe whatever you want. But when you get in somebody else's car and they tell you to put on a mask, you no longer are at liberty to say, I'm not putting on a mask. At that point, either you comply with the rules that the driver has set for their personal vehicle, or you get the fuck out and walk. Those are your two options. You don't get any other options, you know? If I were doing Uber and somebody got in my car and I was like, yo, bro, can you put on a mask? And they started acting this way, I would not have been patient with them. These motherfuckers would have been arrested. I would have been dropping them off at the police station. Or they would be getting up out of my car. It's that simple. They're not staying in the car, you know? I don't know. This guy, he handled it way better than I would have, for sure.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
My property.
You have to get your ass on shit. Now you gotta get beat the fuck up. Yeah, now you about to get beat the fuck up.
You gotta love the dum-dum in the left here. Don't put your hands on nobody. Hey, don't be putting your hands on nobody after her friend literally was the one who initiated any of this situation and put her hands on him first. Grabbed his phone as if she was paying the bill and it was her property and pulled it away from him. Keep in mind, while he's doing his job, his phone, he needs that, right? He needs that to map out his route. He needs that to, you know, use the app to pick up new routes and tip and buy things. I don't know. But they use it for that type of shit, right? They use that for their job. For you to grab that from him, not only are you holding him back from doing his job, you're grabbing another person's personal property, taking it from them without their permission, and being a total piece of shit in the process. Keep in mind also, she's the one who grabbed at his arm, shoved him, or whatever she did there with her hand, and he didn't really put his hands on anyone. Like, in this situation, honestly, you could make the argument that he probably wouldn't have been too wrong for, like, grabbing them and throwing them out of the car. He didn't do that. He was pretty patient up until, of course, the fucking ignorance started. And that's where we see ourselves in this situation.
Now you about to get beat the fuck up. What's up?
You don't touch my property. You don't buy it. You don't buy it.
I don't give a
I
fuck.
bought it. I work hard for it.
You're not in the middle of nowhere.
Very cohesive arguments, of course, being made by the people in the back seat, threatening to assault this man for doing his job and trying to be a courteous person, and taking his shit and throwing it back at him. Very, very reasonable human beings. They seem like very decent people, and, you know, God bless him, man. He's trying his best, right? You know, don't touch my shit. Don't be an asshole. He's trying, man. Look, you're not getting through to these types of people, man. This type of bullshit that people pull, you're not getting through to them, right? Like, you're wasting your time trying to argue with them or reason with them in any way.
So,
What's up?
so
Bitch ass
did it like this?
You kick us out in the middle of the fucking thing? Are you stupid? I really have to like do something.
Did I told you to get out in the gas station? You didn't.
So you can see they really tried to, I guess, fix the situation here. They did their best to resolve this in a very orderly fashion. These three women were very, you know, very nice, I would say. So this man was subjected to slurs. He was taunted. He was threatened. He had his shit thrown, his property taken from him. And yeah, for what? For like $7 in Uber money? Here's the part I'm not getting, right? Like, once again, I don't care if you're anti-mask or whatever, right? You have the right to be anti-mask. I don't care. I really don't. But when you're in somebody else's shit, you no longer get to make up your mind on whether or not you're following the rules of what they're doing, right? When you're in someone's personal car, that doesn't fly anymore, man. And when you're told to get out, you get out, right? Like, you're done. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for this video, though. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at Optimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, wearing a mask and not making a big deal out of any of this shit, and signing out.
All right, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I don't sound very good. I just woke up, and it's the first day, I guess full day, that I've had 1 million subscribers, so I've been kind of planning to do this for a little bit now, I guess ever since the whole thing happened. If you couldn't tell, I had a long night. But yeah, this story, dude, is probably one of my favorite stories of all time. Simply because of the experience itself. Now, before I even get into this video, like, I'm not here to glorify this in any way, you know, I don't know if people are going into this video expecting me to tell you to do it or anything. First off, when you're dealing with psychedelics, like, it's very risky to tell people, like, oh, you should do that, because, like, in all reality, you have to be in the right mind state to do things like that, and then on top of that, you need to also be with the right people in the right place, because if you mess up and, like, you do psychedelics when you're really going through it, or you're not maybe with the people that you trust the most, or you're in a sketchy place like an abandoned building or something crazy, you know, you're really increasing your risk of something terrible happening, aka a bad trip. And when you're tripping off of something like shrooms, that high can last for like 6 hours, okay? It can take a minute for that to kind of come down and stop. So this is not me glorifying it. This is not me telling you to go do it. This is just my personal experience with them and everything that kind of went down. So a buddy came to us a couple days before we were going to do this, and he told us that, you know, he had shrooms, and he talked about us all doing it and everything, seeing how everyone would react to that, I guess. And I was down to do it, of course, because I thought that it would just be a cool experience personally, and I kind of wanted to just see what it was like, which I guess is why most people do things like this when they end up doing them. So we decided that we were going to do it on this specific day. It was going to be 4 of us. He wasn't going to take any of them. The person who offered them up wasn't going to take any shrooms because he was going to be what's called the trip setter. Now, basically, especially with like psychedelics and stuff like that, you have a trip setter who's there. They're usually sober. That way they can kind of help people, I guess, through the experience if they need it. So if someone starts like freaking out, or they're having like a really bad trip, or they don't understand what's going on, like, they're there basically. And also, we were going to a place and we needed someone to drive. So we needed someone sober because, like, there's no chance that you're driving when you're as fucked up as we were. So we decided that we were going to take these shrooms. We were going to then go get Chick-fil-A, right? So we ended up going and getting the Chick-fil-A first, and then when we got back to the car, we ate them, right? And I don't know how much I actually ate, right? Because, like, we bought a certain amount, but I didn't eat the full amount right away, right? Because I didn't know how I was going to react to the entire thing, and I would rather take a smaller dose and be, like, sure that it's gonna be fine, be a lot more comfortable, things like that, than to just, you know, shovel them all in and just fucking hope to God that I'm gonna be good. So we ate these shrooms, and they were fucking nasty, man. They're not good tasting whatsoever. If you've ever had mushrooms on a pizza, that is not how they taste. It's a very earthy, like almost charged kind of taste. It's pretty bitter almost. They were extremely crunchy because I'm pretty sure they were dried out and they were golden caps, okay? So they were actually, the ones that I had were pretty good size, right? And I ate a vast majority of what I had. So after that, we ate Chick-fil-A, had a spicy chicken deluxe, you know, I had to do it. So we ate and everything, and then we headed to this state park to go hike, okay? Because our trip setter was like, oh, dude, you know, you guys are going to love this. The colors are going to be so nice out here in the park. There's, you know, little waterfalls, streams, and things like that to look at. And, you know, there's high points to just look over the park. Like, it's going to be so nice. And so we get there, and it's been like 20 minutes or so, and like very, very minor feelings were kind of like going on. Like, I didn't really feel anything at all at this point. The only thing I could really notice was like a very small euphoria, and honestly, that could have been because I smoked pot before too, so I don't really even attribute that to the actual, like, experience of mushrooms, but once we got into the park and we started walking, we were there for, like, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. A little bit through is when things started to kind of kick in a little bit, and it wasn't anything crazy at this point. Like, the colors, I will say, they did definitely become, like, more vibrant, they popped out more. And if anything, I just felt as if, like, looking over this entire park at points, like, just seeing the water and shit, I felt like, I was reconnected with reality in a way. I know that sounds odd to say, but like I don't usually go to state parks or anything, so like the most nature that you see here in like a city or like an urban area is, a couple trees in someone's yard, things like that, grass. So seeing this, I'm like, damn, this is really the planet that we live on, you know what I'm saying? This is beautiful. And so we hiked for like 3 miles, okay? And we were taking breaks and stuff to like drink water and kind of, relax because our one buddy, there was 3 of us who took them. The one who took them and I was honestly a little worried about because I didn't know how he was going to react. I felt like I was going to be fine, but I didn't know how he was going to react. He was like on cloud 9 by the time we were even like really starting to walk through the park. It was kind of weird. Like they hit him pretty quick, it seems like, but his pupils were all dilated and everything. He was having a little bit of trouble walking, it seemed like. Then again, like we're walking on these rocks and stuff, and it's weird, like going through these paths of this park, but once we're done hiking is when it really hits me, and this is the most distinct feeling I think I've had in my life, okay? So we get back to the car, and we're all hot and sweaty. It was like 82 degrees. My dumbass wore pants and a hoodie, okay? I don't know what I was thinking, but I wore pants and a hoodie, so that was a horrible idea. So we're all just like, we're all hot and everything, so we get back in the car, right? And our trip setter who's driving rolls the windows down, okay? And like, at this point, we're all like, because, we've been walking and whatnot, we're all hot and sweaty. You have to walk up like 70 stairs to get back to the fucking main entrance, which is weird. So we're just like, fucked, okay? And he turns on the air conditioning, and dude, I'm telling you, it's so distinct. The moment we started playing music in the car, and the moment that the air conditioning hit my skin, I was fucking gone. Like, I literally went from pretty coherent to just fucked instantaneously. So it felt like time warped and slowed down right at that point. It felt like I was running in like, I don't know, like a quarter speed that I would usually go through, right? And I noticed this music like so much more. I mean, it just, the music for some reason was like really hitting. And I had this intense euphoria come over my body, right? Like I just felt so good right then. And from my shoulders all the way through my chest, down to about my stomach, it went like really numb, okay? That actually doesn't scare me because I've had that same feeling happen with a weed high like countless times, right? It wasn't really uncomfortable, it was more like relaxing, and dude, like I couldn't feel, I don't know, I didn't feel like my legs were there. I know this sounds weird, but like it didn't feel like anything below my waist was like even functional or even there at that point, right? So I lean back I'm in the back seat with my buddy, okay, with my best friend. I lean back, right, and I look over to him and I'm like, yo, do you feel that? And he's like, yeah, and he's laughing. So it hit us both hard at once right then. So we're driving back to the city, okay? We're driving back home and everything. And dude, we're seeing all these like, there's a bunch of farms and stuff, and there's animals in these ranches, and there's tree lines, and dude, it's just insane. We were listening to like just insane dude, like at one point Hotline Bling came on by Drake, right? I hadn't heard that song since like 2016. That shit was a complete fucking bop. I mean, not to say it wasn't before, but dude, at that point in time, oh my god. Then we had some old Jack Harlow come on, the song Dark Knight, dude. We'd been listening to that song for years, dude. I hadn't heard that in a minute, dude. I was so hyped when that came on. So we're just sitting here listening to the music, bro, just enjoying ourselves, and oh my god, the body high was just fucking intense. Now we get back to the house and everything, and I sit on the couch, right? And we put on a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was fucking stupid. The moment that I hit the couch, I felt like I started melting into the surroundings around me. And the body high and the euphoria was getting severe. Like, it was becoming intense, okay? I couldn't stop laughing. And I, like, stretched out all weird, and my friend's like, bro, are you good? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, dude, no chance that I wasn't. I was so much higher than everybody else. Like, I don't know if I had better shrooms. I don't know if something about them made them interact better with me or something. I have no clue. But, dude, I was fucking destroyed. And then they put on the movie A Haunted House, which actually wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. And we're sitting here watching this shit. I'm like all twisted up on the couch, right? Just like laying there, melting into my surroundings. I'm telling everyone, I'm like, bro, this is the craziest shit I've ever felt. Oh my God, like, I'm so happy right now. And you know, the trip setter, he's there like hyping you up, like, yeah, man, that's awesome, right? Like, embrace that. Because, like, obviously he's not gonna be like, oh, you know, fuck you or anything like, because, like, you're trying to have a good experience. So, and then that's when hallucinations started to kick in. Now, I have rarely ever hallucinated in my life, okay? It's been a handful of times, so the moment I started hallucinating, I was like, holy fuck, okay? Because it wasn't, I feel like people think if you do, like, psychedelics, which I'm sure it can happen, especially on higher dosages and maybe, like, on acid or something like that, that, like, basically what goes down is, like, you know, you see fucking three-dimensional patterns and shapes and, like, all these different things going on. The hallucinations I saw was like, I looked at the floor and it was just kind of warping. Like it was like wavy almost. Like it looked like if you stepped in it, that it would have a little give to it and you might break through it. Like it was kind of waving around a little bit. Then I looked back up at the TV and it like bent real weird. And I'd look at my friends and like their heads would get like a little bigger and then a little smaller depending on like what angle I looked at them from and things like that. So it wasn't like these insane hallucinations, but it definitely did happen and it was pretty fucking nuts. Now, I was gone off mushrooms for about probably 5.5 to 6 hours, right? When we took them, it was like 4 o'clock, and by the time I really started to come down, it was almost like 10 o'clock. Now, we just stayed there the entire time and just kind of kicked it and hung out. But dude, the euphoria and everything kind of came, it was almost like in waves a little bit, which was weird. Like, I felt like I was coming down about 3 or 4 distinct different times, right? Throughout the entire 6-hour trip or whatever. But then at random points throughout that, right? When I thought I was coming down, like I was kind of coming back to my senses a little bit, instantaneously would get hit with an all new fucking peak. So I thought the peak watching TV was like the peak, but no, dude, it just kept coming back and it was getting more intense over time. Which is weird because it seemed like everyone else, like they peaked and then like they kind of plateaued for a little bit and then they just went down gradually over time. But mine was like I said, it was almost like up and down throughout the entire experience. I didn't really hallucinate anymore after we were done watching TV and whatnot and just sitting down there chilling on the couch and whatever. But like the intense body highs and stuff were coming back for a minute. And it was fucking crazy, man. Like it was a very intense feeling. And once again, I mean, it's not up to me to tell you guys to do this. First off, it's against the law. So I can't really advise you to do something like that. I mean, it's something that a lot of people, they go through that kind of experience themselves when they're comfortable with it and when the opportunity presents itself and whatever. That's how I was because, like, in all reality, I could have done them a long time before that, but I wasn't, I think, in a good enough mental state to do it. Psychedelics can be definitely pretty bad to do for a lot of people, and with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus, make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members, your support helps my channel tremendously, and until my next video guys, this is Optimus, well, tripped off mushrooms, and signing out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be doing a story time. So I'm pretty sure this is the first story of the new decade / new year. I can't remember if I've done one yet or not this year, but if I have, disregard that statement. If I haven't, well, here we are doing our first one. As far as I know, it's the first one, but this is going to be the story of the time that I was nearly robbed in a parking lot at McDonald's on Christmas Eve, which just saying that out loud feels really weird. Kind of funny looking back on it, but man, it was pretty scary while it was going down, you know. And well, with all of that being said, let me go ahead and break the entire situation down pretty much chronologically here of how the entire night went and really, I guess, what happened. Alright, so like I said, it was Christmas Eve, and I actually, of course, had things to do. Like, I had to go places and see family, things like that. I mean, pretty typical Christmas Eve kind of stuff going on there, but this time around, I went to my aunt's house, and this, of course, was on Christmas Eve of 2018, and like I said, I went to my aunt's house, and I was there for a few hours and everything, and I know it's gonna sound weird and everything, and even looking back on it, I think it was actually really weird because, I mean, it's, I think, kind of odd to not eat on the holidays, you know what I'm saying, and kind of enjoy those dinners and stuff with your family, but I actually didn't eat. And, well, of course, I was there for hours on end, and I hadn't eaten all day at this point. It had been, like, almost 24 hours since I had anything to eat, and I was like, you know what, McDonald's is only a few minutes away, why don't I go ahead and go get something there? One of the few places that's open locally on Christmas Eve, especially as late as it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock by the time I was actually leaving, and so I go, and it's kind of out of my way, it's not on the way home or anything at this point, so I actually went out of my way to go get something, and And all I wanted was a McChicken, right? Like, I like McChickens. I think they're good. Sometimes I put way too much mayonnaise on them and stuff, but I wanted to go get something to eat. I actually decided to go inside because the drive-thru was literally so goddamn long that it wrapped out around the building. And now I don't know exactly what it is about Christmas where it's just like everyone has to go to McDonald's apparently, but man, it was packed. I'm dead serious. There was probably, I would say 18 to 20 cars sitting in the drive-thru. Like, it was wrapped, man, and I wasn't going with that. So pretty much nowhere else is open though at that time of night and on Christmas Eve. Combining those factors doesn't really help. So I was like, you know what? I guess I'll just go inside and see if that works. And so, by the way, this is like a big kind of like shopping center that this is actually in. Like, it's not one of the like standalone McDonald's or anything like that. Like, there's a whole bunch of department stores or whatever you want to call them. Like, there's big stores and stuff mixed with little ones in this shopping center, like a couple gas stations and other like standing buildings that are out in the parking lot, and the McDonald's is out here in the parking lot. Like, it's not obviously in the shopping center or anything. And so there's this big ass parking lot, and there's barely any lights working in this parking lot, which by the way was completely creepy, but I parked out of the light, right? Because honestly, I don't really like parking next to anybody, especially in a big parking lot. I already know how people are. They fucking run into your car and dent it, and then they back away and leave, or they slam your car with their door. So I'm not really a fan of that, okay? So I kind of parked out by myself. I was like 4 or 5 cars away from anybody at this point. And there was this SUV literally, like, it was the closest car to me. Like, it was like 5 away from me, and so I you know, didn't really mind or anything. That was far enough for me, so I walk a little bit to get to the McDonald's. I would literally rather walk than have my car dented or anything like that. Not really a big deal to me. So I walk into McDonald's and nothing happens up until this point. I actually go in there and it's really not even that crowded. Like, there's a few people in there and there's the employees, of course. And by the way, I definitely don't recommend going into a McDonald's on Christmas Eve. Nobody in there wants to work, okay? That's just a little side note, but nobody in there is trying to do anything, okay? They just want to go home and relax and spend time with their families. They really don't give a shit about your hamburger or your fries or anything like that. So when I get inside is where the problem kind of really starts, because I realized that I left my phone out in the car. I was charging it and everything on the way there, and well, obviously I'm not going to leave my phone out in the car. Another little side note, the reason I refuse to leave my phone in the car, I know there's some people who probably would think that's weird if you live in like some awesome community or something like that, like, oh, there's no problem with that. Well, where I live is kind of bad when it comes to crime. Like, the crime rate is like 4 times higher than the national average. There is a shit ton of theft and burglary. It's insane how much that actually occurs here, and I'm really not trying to lose a phone because I left it out in the car and risked it for some, like a McChicken and some fries. Like, I really wasn't trying to give up my phone over some stupid shit. So I decided before I was even going to order, I'm going to go back and get my phone. I don't want to leave it out in the car. And I guess while trying to avoid another crime, by the way, this McDonald's is, it seems like it's in a nicer part of town, but shit always happens in this area. Like, there's always police parked in these parking lots and stuff. I don't know why. I'm assuming people probably honestly use it for drug deals or go around and burglarize the cars, which, I mean, really just added to my suspicion, the fact that there's police nearby all the time, kind of just chilling out in the parking lots and stuff. So I said, well, you know, I'm gonna go get my phone, and I go ahead and make the trek back. And by the way, it's a pretty decent walk to my car from this McDonald's, so it takes me a little while to get there, right? I mean, it doesn't take me 4 hours, but it's not a 10-second walk out to the car. But when I get back out to my car, that SUV that I was talking about, right, that's like 5 spots away from me, there's somebody sitting in the car. And by the way, the car's not on or anything, and they're not in the driver's seat. They're in the passenger seat up front. And he has his feet up on the dashboard, okay? So, I mean, I just kind of saw him, and I went past, right? And I go get my phone up out of the car, I unplug it and everything, shut the car door, and start to go back into the building. And of course, he's parked, you know, towards the McDonald's. Like, I'm parked farther away from this building than he is, so I have to walk back past the car, or the SUV, I should say, to get into this place. Now, it was already kind of sketchy that this dude was sitting in a vehicle that wasn't turned on, was almost as far away from any of these stores that you really could get. All of these other stores are closed by where we're parked at, and he's just kind of chilling out there, right? I mean, it's freezing fucking cold. It's like 30 degrees outside, but I'm really not trying to have a problem with him, so I'm not going to go up to the window and start questioning him or anything and, you know, being an idiot. So I just walk past, right? And I'm going back towards this McDonald's. Well, apparently he said, fuck that, you're not going anywhere without my permission, so he gets out of the car. And I mean, I'm a little bit away now, right? Like, I'm probably 10 cars down towards this McDonald's. Like, I don't know why, if he was gonna, you know, try to press me the way he did, why he didn't get out a lot earlier, because, I mean, like I said, we, by the way, were not in any lit area of the parking lot. He probably could have actually gotten one off on me had he gotten out of the vehicle earlier, but he does. He hops out, and he starts walking really fast towards me. And the only reason I even know that he's coming towards me is because he starts yelling at me from behind, right? And he keeps saying, hey, I want to talk to you. Come here real quick. I want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck does this guy want? Like, I have never interacted with this person before. I didn't even look at this guy. The only way I even noticed him was because of my peripheral vision, and apparently now he has an issue with me. So he's trying to start this big ass scene in a dimly lit parking lot at 10 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve. So I'm starting to wonder, like, you know, what exactly is going on in his personal life. But then again, I don't really have anything that I can say because I'm going into a fucking McDonald's on Christmas Eve to get a McChicken. So he's walking up behind me, and I turn around, right? Because he's yelling at me. There's literally nobody else in the parking lot except for these cars going through the drive-thru and all this shit ton of like parked cars that are all packed together in certain areas that are going into like the gas station, McDonald's, the 2 stores that are open at this point, none of which were anywhere near. So I look at him, and I thought maybe it was somebody that I knew at first, like, and that's why he was coming up towards me trying to talk, quote unquote, talk to me and shit. But then I quickly realized that no, that he's not trying to talk to me like that. At this point, I'm probably like 80 feet maybe away from McDonald's or so, and I see this guy, and I'm kind of questioning what is about to happen right here, but I realize that his hands are in his pockets, right, like in his front pocket, and he's like fidgeting around while he's walking. So at this point, I have no fucking idea what's about to happen, so I'm like, no, I don't think I'm gonna stand around and talk to this guy. So I start walking towards McDonald's, right? I'm really not trying to cause any more issues or possibly be stabbed, shot, mugged, anything like that. So he's actually closing distance on me pretty well, because at this point, like, I'm not trying to cause a scene or anything. I don't want to go like sprinting into this McDonald's and have like a bunch of people getting out of their cars wondering what's going on. I don't really want to like have a bunch of McDonald's employees wondering why this fucking dude came running into the store at full speed. And I mean, I still have some distance on him, so I'm walking casually because I mean, is he gonna shoot me in my back? What is this, Call of Duty? You know, like, I'm not really afraid of anything going down, if I'm being honest, but I definitely wasn't gonna sit there and quote unquote talk to the guy. And the whole time I'm walking away from him, he's yelling shit at me still. Like, he's just running his mouth. Like, he's all about, hey, I said come back here and talk to me real quick, bitch. Like, he really is trying to like make me turn around and talk to him. Like, he's, I don't know, trying to scare me or like make me mad or something. I don't really know what he was trying to do, but I didn't have anything on me either. Like, I know a lot of people actually like conceal carry and stuff like that, but I'm not old enough to do that anyway legally, so I'm not trying to get arrested for having a weapon that I'm not supposed to have or anything like that. It's a pretty serious charge. So I beat him into McDonald's, and I'm going right back up to the cash register because I kind of thought in my head, like, I know this guy is probably trying to rob me. Like, I know he watched me probably grab my phone out of the car because I never put the phone like into my pockets or anything like that. I just kind of had it in my hand. And honestly, a lot of phones actually end up missing where I'm from. I mean, you'll look on like Facebook Marketplace or anywhere like that, and there's literally just tons of phones. So I'm pretty sure that's kind of what's going on there maybe, but it's always like a locked phone. Like, they'll let you know, like, oh, hey, by the way, the phone's locked, something like that. So, you know, pretty suspicious for somebody who, you know, just had the phone for a couple weeks and doesn't want it anymore. And I knew he wasn't going to follow me inside the building and try to do anything to me. I mean, I'm not really stupid. I mean, if he went inside of this building where there's cameras pretty much all over the place and tried to do something like that, I mean, yeah, he'd be caught pretty quickly. He was wearing just a hoodie, some jeans, and shoes. It wasn't like he had some black ski mask on or something to conceal his identity. But now, once I go inside, I get my food and everything, and obviously McDonald's is literally just all windows out in the dining room, so I can see my car out in the distance, and I watched him go all the way back to the SUV. And at this point, I'm like, great, like, I gotta walk past him to get to the car and everything, so I don't know what exactly is about to happen, but here's the weird part of everything. You know how I told you guys that there's like police that kind of chill out in these parking lots and whatnot at night and stuff? Well, apparently there was a police officer somewhere in the parking lot, and I didn't know that, and he watched this whole thing unfold, okay? So when I left, right, I was just gonna go back to the car and kind of just hope that shit wouldn't break out, even though that's a really stupid thing looking in hindsight, like that was just completely foolish of me. But the thing is I had like 3, maybe 4 inches on this guy just from what I could see from afar. I mean, maybe he was actually taller and I thought he was up close, but he was a pretty good distance away. It looked like he was a little bit shorter than me at least, and I know I probably had maybe 50 pounds on this guy, so if he didn't actually have anything on him, I probably would have been able to like maybe hold my own. Maybe not beat the complete shit out of him, but maybe at least deter him from robbing me if that was what was going on. So I just said, fuck it, and walked back to the car. Or at least I tried to. Well, the moment I come outside, this police car comes pulling up out front with the sirens on, which, by the way, drew the attention of literally everybody. And he gets up out of the car and he walks over to me and he's like, hey, I want you to tell me what happened between you and that guy when you were walking in here. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you couldn't have done anything 20 minutes ago when the shit was actually unfolding, but I wasn't gonna sit here and write him a 4-page essay or anything. I was trying to go home at this point. It's probably 10:45. It's been a minute. I had to wait in line. There's like 3 people in line and everything, and I ate my food, of course. So I just tell him, like, I don't even really know what was going down. I just walked past the car out there and he got out and followed me, and that was pretty much the end of it. And I guess the cop made the dude leave, so that's what I assume because, well, when I was walking back to the car after the police officer came up to me and everything, the SUV was completely gone and there was no signs of this person anywhere around, so I have no idea if the police officer talked to him or not. All I know is he came up, pulled up out front, made a big scene, and then asked me what happened, and I told him basically what I knew. This guy just kind of followed me up to the building, talking about some bullshit. I have no idea what was actually supposed to happen, but yeah, I mean, to this day, like, knowing the shit that goes on where I live, knowing how bad it is, and things like that, when it comes to, like, theft and shit like that, I'm pretty certain he was gonna try to rob me in the parking lot, and it was probably a good thing I went out and got my phone, because, I mean, if he was there looking for shit and was gonna be rummaging through cars, I mean, my phone was literally right up front, so it would have been seen pretty much instantaneously had he went to the car. But yeah, it was a pretty weird experience, and ever since then I've been extremely cautious wherever I go to make sure that, well, I'm parking in a place where people aren't sitting in cars waiting to cause a goddamn scene. I haven't had another situation like this unfold yet, but I mean, yeah, I feel like honestly it's only time will tell if it's gonna happen again. I hope not, though. It was a pretty shitty experience. It kind of ruined my night if I'm being honest, but that's pretty much the story though for you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Make sure to check out OpTube down below. Lots of great things going on down there as well. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, getting robbed in parking lots, and signing out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another story time. Haven't done one of these in a while. I feel like this is kind of like the trademark intro to my stories now. Hey, I haven't done one of these in a while, but I just get so caught up in all my other content and I kind of forget to do these, but finally back with another one. I'm kind of repolishing one of my older storytime videos that I did way back in 2016. This is a video that I did right after I hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's been a minute ago. Anyways, this pretty much took place on the 4th of July back in 2016, and this is a story about a cookout that I went to. I know there's some story videos here on YouTube where, oh, I was at this party and police raided it. I've never been to a party like that kind of thing, but yeah, this is definitely one of the weirdest things that I've ever endured in my life. But yeah, I went to this 4th of July cookout, and you know, we were supposed to show up at like 4:30 when everything was going on. You know, it was just it was like a typical cookout, I guess, here in the United States. You know, a bunch of food, bunch of stuff to do. You know, everyone's gonna kind of hang out outside. When it gets dark, fireworks are gonna go off and stuff. Just kind of a typical thing. That's kind of what I was expecting, and what everyone else was expecting, until, of course, alcohol got involved. Well, anyways, we show up to this whole thing like an hour and a half late, maybe. When we get there, you know, everyone's pretty much already ate. It's been going for a little while at this point, probably an hour, maybe 2 hours and everything. There's some people drinking at a table. There's this big picnic table near a campfire, which was kind of weird because, you know, wood tables, like a wood picnic table, usually you should not put that near a fire. Not really a good idea. Now, there was this one guy in particular who
He's kind of the antagonist of this story. He was already pretty deep into the alcohol. Now, the alcohol that was being shared at this table was not like beer. They were pretty much just drinking liquor at this point. So they were all actually drunk. They weren't just buzzed or anything like that. They actually were pretty much getting shit-faced. Now, this dude at this point was just drinking beer. And the problem with that is he had pretty much unrestricted access to whatever firework he chose. Now, I don't know if you know this or not. Fireworks, they can be dangerous. Usually, you shouldn't let stupid people have fireworks. You shouldn't let drunk people have fireworks. You definitely shouldn't let drunk, stupid people have fireworks. Had access to these. He was definitely acting ignorant, and, he just got firecrackers, thankfully, for pretty much everybody there, because I'm pretty sure if he had just, like, straight up started going into the actual fireworks themselves, like, everyone there would probably have left with third-degree burns. Somebody would have died, maybe 2-3 people would have been killed. It would have been pretty bad if he'd have really started getting into it, but man, he just grabbed up some firecrackers and just started playing pranks. Which, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny. So what he was doing, he was going behind people who were just like standing around having conversations. There was a little bit to do there, you know what I'm saying? People were just kind of standing around having a good time. And he would light them and he'd go up behind them and he'd like put it on the ground and he'd like kind of sneak off a little bit. And you know, it would go off and it'd kind of scare them a little bit because obviously they didn't expect the firecracker to go off behind them. Well, he kept doing it and eventually he screwed up and it kind of like misdetonated or something and it injured one of them because it backfired and it like they were all intoxicated, and none of them really should have had access to them, honestly, but they did. And basically what happened is he lost some skin and was bleeding a little bit. They weren't like small little firecrackers. They were decent size, like enough that if you held it in your hand, it would mess you up. Like, it wasn't something to mess around with. It's not a toy. Well, anyways, that was pretty much when that whole thing stopped after he realized, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't be messing around with these. They're not toys. I just kind of lost some skin. I'm bleeding a little bit. Yeah, let's not play with these. Well, anyways, I mean, I'm not old enough to consume alcohol here anyways. At this point, I'm 16. I wouldn't have consumed it in this setting anyways. Being 16, I have no idea who any of these people are. I don't know them. I was brought here by the people that I came with. I don't know them. That is my wise words. I can't stop you guys from getting intoxicated and being teenagers and, drinking, but if you're going to go to parties and do stuff like that, just keep your head on your shoulders. Be smart. Don't go and get drunk at random people's houses, at random parties. Don't put yourself in those situations. Well, anyways, we started messing with some of the fireworks, like the firecrackers and stuff. While that happened, because, we kind of took over the operation, because we're like, yeah, maybe we should prevent this guy from dicking off. He got bored and found his way to the hard liquor, and none of the other people stopped him. He becomes piss drunk. That's dope. For some reason, they decided to let him just get destroyed. He was already getting there off just beer, but man, they let him really get there, and he got into the fireworks, and he starts letting them off. So at this point, it's been a few hours. It's actually nighttime. You can see the fireworks, and they're actually going pretty well. I'm pretty stunned that nobody has lost body parts yet beyond just their skin. And then suddenly, Roman candles just start getting shot at me, and a few other people by this drunk. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused because, well, that's never happened to me before in my life. As a 16-year-old, that's never happened to me before. I've been put into some very pinch situations in my life where I've had to make some quick decisions. What am I gonna do? How am I going to get out of this? What's going on right now? Having a drunk shoot Roman candles that hurt upon impact and might burn me, that's not one of them. So I was sitting in a chair at this point. Everyone else was sitting in chairs at this point. My body instantly reacts by basically levitating and running. So I'm going in the opposite direction and they're flying past me and everyone else because we're gone, like we're booking it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're in the opposite direction. He is now in pursuit with these things, shooting them off at us, and he's of course got a stockpile of them because they had a whole bunch of different Roman candles and a bunch of fireworks and stuff. He's shooting them at us, and all the other drunk people at this party are egging him on by laughing. When drunk people are acting some type of way and they're going stupid and they're acting wild, the last thing you need to do to encourage them is to laugh at what they're doing and to make them think that they're providing entertainment value to the rest of the people watching them. Well, might I add that, like, before this whole thing, like in the morning of the 4th of July, it had kind of rained a little bit. So guess what? The ground was a little wet. And thankfully, I slid right in mud, man. And guess what? I lose my footing and I wipe out while he's sitting here shooting Roman candles. Literally as the last Roman candle goes past me. Just, whew, it's like right past me, and I'm watching this. It's like in slow motion at this point. It's like movie scene at this point. It goes right past me. I'm watching someone else duck behind cover beside the house here, and it like splits between us, okay, goes straight through, and I see someone else turn around, right, and it smacks him right in the face. Just blasts him, okay? He just gets headshotted by a Roman candle, and dude, oh my god, instantaneously got sick to my stomach seeing that happen, because I know it hurt. I know it hurt like hell watching that happen. I can't imagine how much it hurt actually being the person who got hit. At least even though he got hit in the face, he can still kind of run. The other person's behind cover hidden. At this point, I'm like, oh man, I'm in a bad situation. So thankfully no more Roman candles are being shot. I realize he's out of there. So I'm getting out of there, man. I'm running. Thankfully that whole situation's over. He's done shooting Roman candles at children for fun, and for the fun of every other drunk person at this party. At this point, he changes sexualities. Like, in the middle of the party, he goes from a straight man to bisexual to gay. I don't know which one, but he changes. But he starts making sexual comments to other grown men, and then randomly threatens to sexually assault one of them. And he was being dead serious about all of it, too. And at this point is when everyone's like, oh, okay, maybe it's time to leave. There's a drunk guy over here. He's threatening people. He's making sexually explicit comments to other men. He's going to keep drinking. Probably not a good idea to be here at this point. It's most likely going to get worse. It was a problem pretty quickly, and it was very weird because we were all just kind of hanging out, and it wasn't horrible up until that point. Well, of course, the whole Roman candle thing wasn't fun. You know, literally fearing the fact that I might get, destroyed at any moment. That part there was not a fan of that part at all. And yeah, like I said, that was when everyone's like, all right, yeah, maybe this is time to wrap this whole thing up. Everyone just starts leaving. It's a miracle that nobody lost a hand at this cookout, or lost their lives at this cookout, because somebody could have fallen in a bonfire drunk. Someone was shot in the face with a Roman candle. Somebody lost skin off a hand. I can only imagine the outcomes that could have came. None of them really being good, so yeah, there's a story for you guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new. Follow me on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Thank you to my channel members. Remember that they get to see these videos earlier than everybody else. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, I guess going to 4th of July parties and being shot at by Roman candles. And signing out. Welcome back to another video. Yeah, today I'm going to tell a story. So this is the time that I almost got arrested. Well, one of the times I almost got arrested. Believe it or not, I've almost been arrested several times throughout my life. This is one of the closest times I've ever been to getting arrested. And most of the time when it comes down to me, almost getting arrested, it's just like most people when it comes down to it. It's just me doing really stupid-ish. And I can't even front like it's not, but that's almost exclusively what it is. I can't even sit here and pretend like it's not, but yeah, this is basically what it was. So, I have told this story before, but with a lot of these story videos, I just think that video was really horrible, and I made it I don't know, it's been, well, about 4 years ago now, so pretty much none of you have seen that video, so there's really no harm in, updating that video and remaking it, so yeah, you've pretty much never seen it, so we'll go ahead and remake it and put that up as this video today. So yeah, this is the time that I almost got arrested as an 11-year-old child. So yeah, I was 11, and it was the middle of summer too, so I was just kind of hanging out on summer vacation with my cousin. I spent a lot of time at my cousin's house on summer vacation. I basically lived there during the summer, spent so much time there, so. And we didn't really do a whole lot of crazy stuff while we were there. Most of the time we just kind of played video games. We would just play PlayStation 2 and 3. This is back when before the PS4 and all that was out, so we were playing older consoles and stuff at this time. This is back when Modern Warfare 3 was out, so we were playing a lot of the older Call of Duty games and stuff at this point, so that's pretty much what the day would consist of, a lot of that kind of stuff. We would go outside too. We had some friends in the neighborhood that we would play with. We would shoot hoops and stuff like that out in the street, and we would also ride an electric scooter and stuff around the block. And there wasn't a whole lot of stuff really to do because there wasn't really that many kids in the neighborhood, so we couldn't really do a whole lot of stuff, but at the same time, it wasn't there was nobody in the neighborhood to kind of hang out with, so, it was a weird balance. But one day we were just kind of hanging out, walking around the block, and we saw this weird peach tree. And it was the first time we'd ever seen this tree. And I know this is going to sound really weird because, we're just walking around the block and, oh my god, a peach tree in the middle of the city. Yeah,
there was a peach tree in the middle of the city, so which was really weird. I have been everywhere in this city, and I've never seen a peach tree anywhere else here, ever. So it was really odd to see one here. We noticed it there, and we pointed it out like, hey, there's a peach tree up in that yard. And we're all just kind of like looking around, and we kind of go over there, and there's nobody home. So, of course, we're stupid kids, and I'm not telling you this story to tell you, hey, this is what you should do. I'm telling you this story because I'm telling you, hey, I almost got arrested doing this. Don't recreate these actions. Not necessarily a good idea. I literally was almost arrested for doing this. So, we went up in this yard, and we, picked some peaches off this tree. Yeah, kind of harm, kind of foul. Shouldn't be going in people's yards picking fruit off their trees. Not necessarily a very good thing to do. Not your tree, not your yard. However, no one really said anything. No one saw us, so no big deal to us, right? So we walk back out to the sidewalk. And we have this electric scooter. Now, there's 3 of us because we're hanging out with one of our friends in the neighborhood. He lives down the street and everything. So we're just kind of hanging out, right? And we're just sitting here with these peaches and stuff. And I don't know why, but we would have these, weird moments where we would just straight up invent games on the spot. Now, I don't know if you guys did this too, but we would just straight up invent games right there on the spot. This time we straight up invented one where the object of the game was to throw peaches at each other while one of us had to avoid the other one's throwing on the electric scooter. I don't know why we decided that was a game we wanted to play. I don't know where we came up with this idea. I don't know why we decided this was a good idea, but this is what we decided we were going to do with the rest of our day. Apparently, there was just infinite peaches that grew off this tree. Apparently, whoever lived at this house was going to arrive home and be like, oh, hey, I wonder where all the peaches on my tree went. I don't know, like I said, we were kind of stupid. We didn't really think this one through. We didn't necessarily have the biggest brains going on there, so it was just straight up degeneracy at this point. So we're picking peaches off this tree, just being idiotic, and we start playing this game. So one of us gets on the scooter, starts riding it back and forth. We're throwing peaches, trying to smack it, aiming for the head deliberately, of course, trying to inflict as much damage on one another as possible. And, peaches, I'm assuming, will hurt when hit in the face with one. So, we're whipping them, we're throwing them as hard as we can, trying to go hard. So we're just playing this game, and keep in mind there are cars parked along the side of the road. We deliberately went to a spot in the road where there were no cars. So we went to an area where there was an intersection. Where there are no cars parked there, you legally cannot park your cars close to the intersection because, obviously, people need to be able to get through that intersection. Well, anyways, we're playing at this intersection. There's a stop sign there and everything, so we're kind of just hanging out there. And we're playing this game, and yeah, we're just kind of throwing these things. We're not hitting any cars or anything like that. So we're just kind of hanging out in this one spot. We're playing our game by ourselves. Of course, we didn't even pick that many peaches off the tree. We were trying to be mindful of that even. We didn't want to ruin this guy's tree. We didn't want to ruin his yard or anything. We were trying to be as mindful as we could, but we were still being, we weren't being mindful because at the end of the day, we were going in his yard and taking things off his tree. That's not being very mindful. Well, anyways, of course, somebody noticed what we were doing, and they did not enjoy it at all. So one of the people who lived in this area noticed, of course, hey, there's 3 kids out there. They're throwing fruit at one another in the middle of the street where there's all these cars parked, and no one is saying anything to them. No one is approaching them and telling them to stop. What's going on here? So I guess he took it upon himself. I don't know. He decided to come outside and say something. And he sure said something, all right. Now, at this point, our game had devolved to just throwing peaches at the stop sign. Yeah, which, I don't know. I don't know, man. It wasn't a good decision. But yeah, we were just throwing the peaches at this stop sign at this point. And he came outside, and he just starts going stupid. And yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand him, reacting negatively, but reacting in the way that he did, maybe not. So he did raise his voice, and then he starts cussing at us and talking to us some type of way. So, I didn't take to that very well because my temper, it tends not to be very well under control sometimes, and that becomes pretty problematic. I used to be very bad about this. I've gotten better as I've become an adult. So I was 11 and couldn't control my temper very well, so, this random grown man walks out on his porch and starts screaming and cussing at us, and then he makes the random claim that we threw peaches at his truck, which, if you throw a fruit at somebody's truck, it's going to leave marks. Not only is it going to leave dents, it might leave a scratch, but it's also going to leave something like juice, or it's going to leave some skin on the side of the truck. fruits explode, they leave something behind beyond just the dent. Well, I mean, he pointed down to his truck, and we look over there. Of course, there's nothing on his truck because his truck is like 25 feet away from us. It's on the other side of the road. We're not even close to his truck. He's, keep in mind, on the way other side of the road, he's like 55, 60 feet away. We're not even really that close to him, like we're on the other side, so he is now causing problems with us from the other side of the road, like we're not even close to his property or anything like that. He's out here freaking out making random claims, and I tried to be like, you know, nice to this guy. I was like, okay, well, we didn't do that. I mean, you can come look at your truck, there's nothing on your truck, there's no marks on your truck, fruit leaves marks on a truck, so we're just out here playing around. We haven't hit any cars, you can look up and down the road, we haven't done anything, so apparently me, you know, responding, I would say, with that, being, you know, somewhat polite, being reasonable, not responding too, I would say, too harshly or anything, apparently was just, like, the worst response to give this guy, so he freaked out, and he becomes irate and marches down the stairs, and at this point, I thought he was actually gonna, like, confront us in the street, so that would have been pretty cool, you know, a grown man trying to attack a group of children in the street over something like this, you know, that would have been pretty dope, but, because at this point, he's just out here, like, freaking out in the street, just, like, raising his tone, so I kind of lost it, and I was just like, alright, go ahead, go do it, you bitch, no one's really scared of it, go ahead and call them, they're not gonna do shit anyways. I kind of lost it, I started cussing back at him, and yeah, he didn't take to that very well, so he runs into the house, and he like shows us the phone through the glass window on his door, and at that point, we're all like 11, so we're like, oh shit, he's actually calling the cops, so we take off, man, so we start running up around the block, and we made a plan real quick to all like go back to the same house, to go back to my cousin's house real quick, and just to like kind of chill out for a minute, right? Well, our friend said, nah, I'm cool on that. He took off without saying anything and just dipped. So we're both just looking at, we're just like, huh? Wait a minute, hold up. He just like takes off without saying anything to anyone, just running. We're just like, oh, that's perfect. So this dude's calling the police on us. We're like, at this point, probably a quarter of the block away from home, and we don't know where this guy's going. So the police are supposedly looking for us, and we have split up as a group. That's pretty awesome. So me and my cousin just take off back home. We don't know where he's at. We don't know if he's going to be caught, because that's our main concern, is that he's going to be caught by the police, because we don't know where he's going. If he like doesn't go home quick enough and the police do catch him, he might snitch and he might rat us out. And if he rats us out, then we're going to be caught too. So that's kind of a problem. So we just went home. And we just kind of like chilled out. We didn't actually think the police were going to show up. We didn't think they'd really would care about something that stupid. Honestly, I wouldn't think the police would really care about something like that unless like he would have had to have like majorly exaggerated what happened. And like thinking back on who the dude was, I totally believe he exaggerated. Like he probably told them like we had a firearm like aimed at him. Something stupid, man. But there was a police presence in the neighborhood very quickly. There was a police car that went right up the road. We watched it from the window. So we're actually like, oh great, so there's actually cops looking for us, because we were throwing peaches at a stop sign trying to have fun. That's pretty dope. So we just kind of chilled in the house, and then the police started going door to door. That was really weird. We didn't think that was going to happen, so I don't think it would have happened. I'm assuming that someone might have seen us go into the house or something, and then they might have told the police that, because I don't just see the cops coming up to like the 6 houses right by where we came in and like asking if boys came in the house here. You know what I'm saying? Something's real suspicious about that, but the cops came up to the door and they asked if anyone had seen 2 boys or 3 boys coming through the neighborhood, messing with stuff, vandalizing property, and things like that, disturbing the peace. So my cousin, aka my cousin's sister, so my older cousin at this point, answered the door for us. We're scared shitless. We're hiding. We're trying not to get caught here. And yeah, the police are right there. She very easily could have turned us in. She knew at this point what was going on. She was not happy because she was going to have to tell on us, unfortunately, when, you know, it came down to it, and when parents and stuff, you know, had to become aware of what was going on. But unfortunately, a few minutes later, they kind of figured out what was going on, because the police thankfully did not find out what was going on. They believed it when she told them that we weren't there, walked off, and they never found out what was going on. Thankfully, we were not arrested. Almost were. We could have been caught very easily, but yeah, they just kind of left. I don't know what they ever told that dude, or if they ever, like, found anyone else, if they ever found my friend, who we never talked to after that again, by the way. Well, I actually did, because I ended up working with him at a pizza place a few years later, which was funny. And we recalled back on that. It was actually funny a lot of years later. It wasn't so funny right after it happened, but yeah, that was a story about the first time I almost got arrested. I've almost been arrested a few times afterwards, but yeah, definitely not something you want to follow in the footsteps of. It was a really stupid decision, and being kids, man, I think it was a good lesson, because I made a really irrational decision with my cousin and one of our friends, but it's something I can look back on and laugh about, thankfully. Anyways, if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. Remember, channel members do get access to storytime videos a little bit earlier than everybody else. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, nearly getting arrested over throwing peaches when he was like 11, and signing out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, welcome back to another video here on the channel. This one's going to be a little bit weird, another story time. This is unlike anything I've ever really told here on the channel, because this is just honestly a very one-off experience. I've never seen anything like this before this, or even after this, ever. Honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to see anything like this again in my life. This was just, it was one of those things, man, that I just don't think is ever going to be replicated in my life. I think it's one of those things that the universe just places in front of you, I think, just to, like, test the simulation in a way, just to see if you're still there, you know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know, it was really weird, man, but, I mean, it's kind of sad, it's a bit cruel, and, you know, I understand, but I was shocked, I was confused, and I don't know, man. It was off the wall. I'm not gonna lie. And anyways, this one took place during my senior year. So this is in late 2017, about October, at least from when the picture was dated, because I screenshotted the picture, the one that I'm about to show you guys later in this video. So I'm only 19. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that. But during my senior year, a lot of stuff happened that I don't know, man. It's stuff that I don't think I'm ever gonna see again. This is one of them, I'm telling you. And I don't want to get into the full details of my whole schedule, because I don't think that that's really necessary. I think it's best to keep it constrained really down to the last 3 periods of the day, because that's when this took place. So my last 3 periods were forensics, and then it went guided study, or study hall, or study block, whatever you call it. And then it went to Government 3, which I was taking alongside Government 4, because for some reason they wouldn't let me take Government 3 the previous year. State of Ohio is really weird about stuff like that. Anyways, our forensics classroom is like a multi-purpose room. Now, I know a lot of you go to these high schools where, like, every room, there's like 700 rooms, and like every room is a single-use room. Like the forensics room is just a forensics room. It's got everything it needs, but no, that's not how my school was, man. But the forensics room was basically like a biology room where you could also teach like physics and environmental science, and you could also teach like 4 other classes if you really needed to. So with that being said, that's where my forensics class took place. And since there was a biology class and whatnot there, they had this whole wall on the one side of the room that had these animals and stuff in it. Now, one of them, there was a tank that had a lizard in it. Then there was a tank that had these goldfish in them. And the goldfish died pretty often, which I found pretty weird, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. The goldfish died, like, really often. Like, every day, there was, like, 2 new dead fish. And the school just kept getting new ones. Like, they didn't question, like, hey, why are the fish dying literally all the time? Hey, let's just go get new ones. The fish were just dying all the time. It was weird. I don't know why. I'm not a fish whisperer. I don't take care of fish. So the fish were dying all the time. And that was part of this problem, I think, is the fact that these kids had access to dead fish. Well, anyways, one day I'm sitting in forensics, and there's like just a few minutes left in class. There's not that much time left. And the teacher, of course, notices that there's more dead fish in this tank. And you know, can't just leave a bunch of dead fish in this tank. That's not really cool. So instead of throwing them in the trash, she asked one of the students in the class to take them down to the bathroom and flush them down the toilet to properly dispose of them. The kid said yes, so he took them in a bag and took them down to the bathroom to flush them down the toilet. And, you know, I minded my own business because none of my business. That's how I usually am about it. I didn't question anything about it. I just minded mine. You know, checked out my phone, was waiting for class to end. And of course, you know, just like I would say any normal trip, a couple seconds later, he comes back without the fish. I'd say that's pretty normal. You'd think he flushed them down the toilet. Well, as you'll understand later on,
he didn't, because the fish end up throughout the building. So the bell ends up ringing a few minutes later, and I go to my next class. There's only 2 more periods left throughout the day. I'm ready to get guided study out of the way. Most of the time, I just sit on the computer, listen to music, watch and check out YouTube, play games with my friends. We played like Bad Eggs and stuff like that. I used to do some online classes and stuff like that as well to get college credit and stuff like that, but that's pretty much all we did in guided study, man. There wasn't much studying in guided study, if you know what I mean, so that class wasn't nothing, man. And, I'd hop on my phone pretty much all the time. That's all I really did. We just kind of chilled out in there. It was a nice period to relax towards the end of the day. We only had an hour left really of school, an hour and a half left of school. It was a good time to unwind, man, and we had a cool teacher in there, we really did. So he was pretty cool with it as long as, the principal or anybody didn't come in and start freaking out on us. He really didn't have a problem with what was going on, so I got on my phone and I checked out Snapchat. Now, usually hopping on Snapchat, nothing weird ever came up because we're at school, so I don't know how your guys' school operates, but there's these public stories that you can create, if you're in an area where a lot of people are at once. And somebody created one for our school that people could upload stuff to. Well, at this time, that was when it was kind of new, so it was kind of the hot thing at the school to kind of check it out and see what was going on it. And people were uploading what was going on and stuff there. And it wasn't super popping off or anything. There wasn't 40 people a day or anything on there talking and whatnot. It was the most active it ever was at this point. And I open it and there's a couple things. I'm just kind of scrolling through there, seeing what's going on. And it turns out that the first thing that I really notice is that some random kid posts a picture of his pencil pouch with a dead goldfish in it. And immediately I'm just really confused because that fish was just supposed to be flushed down the toilet 10, 15 minutes ago. Why is it in this kid's pencil pouch 3 minutes ago, It's a different kid. It's not even the kid who took it to the bathroom. It's a kid who wasn't in the class or anything. So I'm just kind of looking around to see if anyone else is noticing this because it's on the public story for the whole school and no one else seems to notice for another few minutes and everyone's hey, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Pointing at their phones, showing everyone else. I'm getting showed by people and I'm just yeah, it's just really weird and confusing. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's just kind of shocked. And then I notice who actually uploads it, and I realize, oh, wait a minute, we only have 25 minutes left of this class, or, 30 minutes left of this class, and then I have class with this kid next. He's one of the class clowns in this really bad social studies class that I have next, and he has a dead goldfish in his pencil pouch. Nothing can go well with this. And I'm just sitting here waiting for the minutes to tick by, man. There's a half hour, and I know something's going to happen. Because we were already a bad social studies class, man. We were already acting up every day. We already had people... The teacher was already riled up all the time. We were already talking all the time and freaking him out. We had one of the kids with a dead goldfish in his pencil pouch. There was nothing good coming from this. The time was ticking by. The whole school was becoming aware of it. I was surprised, none of the faculty ever became aware of it. So eventually it becomes time for me to go to this class, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm walking down the hall, man, and I'm preparing myself for what's about to go down. I'm mentally preparing myself for what's about to happen in this classroom. Because honestly, in my mind, just about anything really can happen with this fish, and with the teacher, and with another kid, and with this classroom. I don't know what's about to happen. A kid's gonna get hit with the fish, the teacher's gonna get hit with the fish, he's gonna eat the fish is hitting the wall. I don't know. All I know is something bad is about to happen, and I'm not snitching. So I walk in this class, and the thing is I sit I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, well, at this time, see, the thing is, at this time, when this happened, I sat 3 rows to his left, but I also sat 2 seats ahead of him. So I sat a far bit behind him. I'm thinking about the other stories where I sat 2 seats behind him, but that was because of all of our other actions and stuff where he put all the class clowns right in front of his desk. But yeah, at this time, that hadn't happened yet. So I know this dude has a dead fish, and I'm just confused. And I asked him, I'm dude, what are you doing? How did you get that? Why did you get that? Because it's honestly... I'm just confused on why you would want it. You know what I'm saying? Why would you want a dead fish in your pencil pouch? Apparently what happened was when that kid left our class to take the fish to the bathroom, he went in there and this kid was already in the bathroom. He was pissing. When this kid went to flush it down the toilet, apparently something happened. They started talking and some sort of deal kind of went off, where he like just gave him the fish. I don't necessarily know why that happened. He said that he didn't necessarily ask him for the fish, but he just kind of was given the fish and told to keep it, and he just did. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, at the end of the day, it could be, it could not be. I have no idea. But all I know is that apparently in the bathroom, some sort of dead fish drug deal broke down, and we're out here handing out dead goldfish over in the bathroom stall of the school. So this fool walks out the bathroom with a dead goldfish in his pocket, takes it back to class, and stuffs it in his pencil pouch. This is when it happens. The teacher is looking up at the presentation, and all of a sudden I see something orange go whizzing through the air over all the rows of kids and slap against the floor about 4 feet away from the trash can against the wall. And it doesn't hit the wall, it hits the floor, and it hits it pretty hard. Because this fool, dead serious, in the middle of class, took a goldfish out and straight up Kobe'd this across a bunch of class and just tried to shoot it into the trash can. And somehow the teacher did not notice this happen. Did not notice a dead fish fly across the class and hit the floor, even though everyone else noticed it. Even though people were like, oh, you know, like grossed out. He had no clue. This dude got up in the middle of class, picked it up, and threw it away. And the teacher was like, apparently just didn't have a clue. I was absolutely floored, man. I was stunned. When I tell you guys that my jaw was laying on my desk, I look like that scene out of Family Guy when like Peter got Jesus to expand Lois's boobs and like Brian's jaw hit the table. That was me when I saw that. Cause I knew something was gonna happen, but I didn't think it was gonna be, you know, Kobe at the free throw line trying to shoot it at the basket. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't even disrespect Kobe because Kobe would have made that, but at the end of it, it's Shaq. It's Shaq at the free throw line. But it was insane. I was shocked. It was kind of disgusting, I'm not gonna lie. And I guess he never got in trouble, I'm assuming, because, I mean, it seemed like it was all cool. Like, the teacher never noticed, he never got suspended, never got in trouble. No one ever snitched, and I guess that was the end of the dead fish fiasco. So, I don't get it personally, but maybe you do, I don't know. Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here. Follow me over on Twitter at Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below. Thank you to my channel members. Your support helps my channel tremendously. Make sure to remember that channel members of $3.99 and up get to see these videos a few hours early. And until my next video, I guess this is Optimus throwing dead fish and signing out. What it do, baby? All right. Kawhi Leonard time, baby. Let's go. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be doing another story time. Now, if you've been around here on the channel for a while, not most of you have, but it's not a knock on you or anything, but I mean, we have had like, what, 45,000 new subscribers or something insane in the last 28 days, which is crazy. But, yeah, if you've been around since about 2017, you might remember a story video called The School-Wide Email Scandal. And, yeah, that's one of my favorite stories, simply because I look back on that one very fondly, simply because of what happened, because that was a good time. So, what most people don't know is there's actually a part 2 to that story that I never told, and that's what's awesome about that. So, yeah, basically what happened, to explain it, or to explain the context, I thought it would be funny to kind of recreate it after I went back to regular school, and, yeah, I recreated it. Remember, channel members get to see these a couple hours earlier than everybody else, so if that's something that interests you, you know, $5 a month, the button's down below. Thank you for supporting my content. So yeah, basically, to explain the first one, if you haven't seen the video, I would prefer if you watch that video. It is a good video, and I do enjoy that story. It is linked down below. But I went to trade school, and they issued Chromebooks, and we hacked my friend's Chromebook, and we copy and pasted the word bark hundreds of times and sent it to dozens of people throughout the school, including faculty, which included the principal, a bunch of the teachers, multiple students, things like that. This was a prank that we played because we thought it'd be funny. I still think it was funny,
He didn't get in any trouble for it. Well, anyways, yeah, that's the gist of that. If you want more context and whatnot, and you want the funny parts of it, you can go check that one out. So, ow, I just blasted my hand, and you probably heard that. Jesus, that hurt. Anyway, so I went back to regular school for my senior year, and I wanted to recreate this prank, and I stayed home this day. I had a big problem with that my senior year. I had a big problem with that altogether. I didn't go to school very often. I have no idea how I graduated. But, yeah, I didn't go to school very often, especially in my senior year because, I mean, I was working on YouTube all the time. And, I think my school kind of realized that, and that's why they didn't pursue me so hard for missing so much school. Because in reality, you're only supposed to miss, like, 5 days of school per semester or whatever. And, I missed, like, 30-something days total the whole year. And I'm pretty sure that was only the ones that were reported. I probably missed another 15 to 20 total. Yeah, I missed a lot of... I probably missed a quarter of the school year. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But, somehow I graduated, I completed all my college courses and stuff. Somehow, I don't understand how, but I did. And, yeah, I did pretty good, I guess. So I stayed home this day. I guess I got my video done or whatever. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't get my video done, and I decided I just wanted to dick off a little bit. And, I texted a couple friends who still went to that school, and I was like, hey, does our homeboy still have the same... credentials and whatnot? And they said, yes, everybody still has all the same credentials. And I was like, oh, that's even better. Remember the school-wide email thing that happened? Guess what's about to happen. So there was a little bit of a problem, though, from home. I realized that there was a big problem. Well, I tried to do it from home, and I tried to log into my old school account because I had my own credentials from that school, and I couldn't log in. So, for whatever reason, they had deleted my account because I guess I had, transferred out of that school, so they got rid of my account off the server, probably to clear up server space and whatnot, but my plans had been foiled for the time being, and I was very upset about that, so I was disappointed, so I texted him, I was like, we're gonna have to find something different, and, I just kind of pondered it for a little bit. The next day I went to school, and I was bored in one of my classes, and yeah, when I get bored is when things typically go south. Now, here's my thought process when I get bored. I'm like, man, I'm really bored. Do I want to play on my phone? There's not much to do on my phone. I can check Twitter and troll on there. Don't really want to do that much right now. Don't want to watch YouTube. Nah, pretty much probably watched all the YouTube content I really want to today. Can't really, beat my stuff in school, so not going to do that. Shouldn't include that, but I probably will. Can't really do that right now, so what can I really do? Oh, yeah, I was going to completely, control my friends over at the other school yesterday. I could probably try and do that. How can I do that? Oh, I can create a new Gmail account, and they would never know who it was. Oh yeah, great idea, Mr. Optimus. So I go on Gmail. You can create as many free Gmail accounts as you'd like to. I create one, of course. And me being the slick little booger that I am, I create one under our homie's name, the one that we trolled just last year. And of course, he doesn't see it coming because we didn't tell him that it's going on. So he thinks it's just going to be a nice, normal day. He thinks it's going to be a great day. Sun's out probably. Might not be, I don't know. I don't remember what the day was like. Sun's might be out, It might be a nice day. And he's just having a good old time, probably walking to class. And that's when the first strike hits. So my friends coordinated in this attack. They gave me some emails. I sent some emails. And that's when it happened. So, of course, the first time around I said bark. So the second time I wanted to do the same thing. So I said bark again. I start sending these emails out to, at this point, it's just students, and it's just the friend group. It's like 4 people max, and they're getting them, and they're laughing, okay? And I'm doing it just to test, to kind of see what I can get away with, what I can't, to see, what I can get to do. Any good hacker knows you gotta test the system before you go all the way in. You can't just go in and start hacking and just breaking the system straight through. That's not how that works. So I started hacking the system with my emails, and it was going pretty well. I mean, the server wasn't blocking me from emailing these people, which was kind of weird because I thought the server actually rejected outside emails because I thought that they had set it up to block out those emails due to a virus that circulated within the school at one point because of an outside email, but I guess they had taken that system down or whatever, but yeah, I was able to email them, and when I realized that, I realized I was home free, and
that's when it just went all bad. By the way, I don't recommend doing this. I really don't. I don't recommend you do this. It's not a good idea, man. You probably can get in a lot of trouble. You can definitely get in a lot of trouble now that I think about it, especially if you do it at school. At the time, I had like, I don't know, probably 4 weeks of school left, so I didn't necessarily have all too much to lose. So they weren't really going to do all too much to me. You know, what were they going to do, suspend me? I didn't really come to school in the first place. You know, not making excuses or like, you know, good reason to do it. I wouldn't do it, but, you know, I'm just saying, yeah, it definitely isn't a good idea looking back on it, but it was a good prank overall. And then that's when we targeted the friend. So unlike the first one, I didn't expand this to the whole school because I felt kind of bad doing that because these are people who are just trying to get their classwork done and stuff. Yeah, I lied about that. I sent that to as many people as I possibly could before, yeah. But our friend here, he was definitely getting it. That ass is all mine, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta get him. You know, you gotta hit them while they're down a little bit, you know? You gotta hit your friends while they're down, man. You really do. You just gotta hit them in the back of the head while they're not looking a little bit just to show them, you know? Just to show them that you're there, you know? That's really off course. That's not good advice, but it's true, you know? Now, the main course of action for this planned attack with the Gmail account was to create it under his name, which was the plan. I, of course, followed through with this plan, so it, of course, looked like it was him. The name was in the email. I'm sure he did not appreciate it when an email that was clearly not him with his name in it emailed him with the word bark hundreds of times in it. It probably threw him for a loop when he realized the flashbacks hit him very quickly. Basically, step 1, create email account with friend's name. Step 2, start sending it into friends to test the server. Step 3, if friends work, start sending to more. Step 4, send to more. Step 5, profit. So I let this go, and you're not supposed to make macros on the school computers. Those kinds of softwares, I figure, are actually banned within the school technology use policy. If you're one of those kind of kids who actually care about those things, I'm not. So with that being said, the macro was doing its job. Now, it only had been a couple minutes, but that was the end of it right there because the server cut the connection. I don't know exactly what happened, but the server basically denied any more requests to send him emails. Now, the server must have realized basically I was blowing his email account up with the word bark in these emails, and it was like, okay, he's being spammed. And the server, it shut down. And by shut down, I didn't know this was going to happen. But it didn't shut down just for him. It shut down for the whole school. It shut down for the whole entire school. And oh my God. Now, when I got that text, that was odd to me. So I was sitting there and I was kind of chuckling. I was showing my friend like, hey, look what I'm doing. And I was like explaining it to him. We're like kind of laughing, like high-fiving, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, hanging out. And I get a text and he's like, hey, nobody's emails are working. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, oh, they must have pulled the plug or something. He's like, no, they didn't pull the plug. They're investigating. They don't know what happened. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, nobody knows what's going on, but the email server, like, crashed. And I'm just like, huh? I'm just confused. Because I was baffled. But apparently, nobody in this school that had hundreds of students could use their emails. Now, email was one of the #1 methods of contact between teachers and students for the whole school. So this was pretty early in the morning. This was probably second period, probably 8:15, 8:30, maybe third period, so going on 9 o'clock now. School doesn't let out till what, 2:30, 2:45, something like that. And the servers are no longer working for the emails that the whole school uses to communicate with one another because I thought it would be funny to spam email my friend. So suddenly I'm like, oh shit. I have completely destroyed the server for an entire school because I thought it would be funny to spam my friend. So the funny feeling in me, it turned very quickly into an, oh my God, I'm going to be federally prosecuted feeling. And I'm just texting them like, oh my God. And they have their own like technology person there who it's his job to run that whole thing. And even he didn't know how to fix it. I'm just like, oh, Jesus, man. Like, it's out of their control. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like telling my friend, I'm like, dude, apparently what I did, like, shut the whole email server down at this school. And he just, like, looked at me and he was just like, oh. He's like, yeah, you might be in a little bit of trouble there. And I was kind of scared, I'm not gonna lie. Optimus got a bit scared on that one, folks. So as the day goes on, and I'm just waiting at this point. I'm just waiting for them to figure out what's going on. I'm waiting for them to trace it and figure out that it came from the school, and for them to figure out that it came from my login, and yeah, just calm me down, be like, hey, what's going on, man? Good job. I mean, it was kind of funny. I was kind of playing the scenario in my head, and it was going to go one of two ways. My ideal scenario, it would be like that scene in Superbad where Jonah Hill wanted the old lady to buy alcohol and so he could have sex with Jules, and basically I was like envisioning that the principal, like, I mean, it was pretty funny, and like he daps me up and he's like, I'm not gonna punish you for it, but I knew it wasn't gonna play out that way if it happened, so I'm just waiting to get punished. And I mean, I didn't really care, especially if it wasn't gonna be like charges. But I mean, if I caused like actual damage to this server and it like crashed and it costed money and resources to repair it, I knew that something was going to happen to me. And so I still kind of thought it was funny, I'm not going to lie. And then I felt bad because all these people didn't have emails. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, you know, I felt a little bit bad, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, they didn't have well, I think they fixed the email server and they didn't allow students to send emails between one another for the rest of the day, but they could send them to teachers. They set up something weird to where, you know, like they couldn't communicate with one another, but they could communicate with their teachers and stuff. It was odd, man. It was really confusing, but I caused a lot of pandemonium just by playing a prank on one of my friends. And by far definitely topped the first story, which, you know, just a harmless little prank that turned into just some printer paper. This almost turned into, you know, damage to a server over a joke. Yeah, apparently it crashed the server, which I don't understand how, you know, a few emails from a random Gmail account crashed their server. Apparently it was that weak, which I would blame it on them, actually. I would say it's their fault that they had such a jank server, but yeah, that was it. Yeah, don't do that, because, yeah, that almost led to something really bad. Yeah, I learned a lesson with that one, man. Jesus, that scared me. So, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here, follow me over on Twitter @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below, lots of great things going on over there as well. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. They also get to see these videos just a little bit earlier than the rest. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, apparently shutting down school servers, and signing out. Welcome back to another Storytime video, guys. Today, I'm going to be going through some of my my fast food horror stories. Believe it or not, I actually have held jobs outside of YouTube, and they all were actually in fast food, and there was a lot of very unpleasant experiences going around with those. Before we get into it, I do want to let you know that channel members get to see Storytime videos a few hours earlier than everybody else, and on top of that, they get to vote on topics that end up becoming Storytimes. If you're a fan of the Storytime videos here on this channel, you would like to support my content for $5 a month, you will be able to vote on specific topics, also getting other perks and getting to see these videos early. You can do so by hitting the join button down below. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. So I've worked at 2 different fast food restaurants, if you want to call these fast food restaurants. That's what I would consider them. They both were based on getting food pretty much out the door as quickly as possible. One had a drive-thru, the other one didn't. So I have 3 stories that I'm going to really go through individually in this video. These are easily the worst moments I've had at these jobs. Now, the first one I want to talk about is just the nightmare that was my first job. I was only here for like 2 weeks, so I wasn't there for very long. I only worked like 6 days at that, so I didn't really work very much, but within those 6 days, I saw some shit, man, that, you know, just would completely change your mind on these kinds of restaurants. This place has been in trouble for health violations and stuff like that before. There's been a lot of stories that have come out in the news and stuff like that, and from the health department about how disgusting this place is. Everyone I've ever talked to ever agrees that anytime they go in this place, they just expect not only the food really to just be horrible and the customer experience to be bad, but just the filth of the place is overbearing. I have refused to ever eat at this place again due to some of the things that I saw, okay? This place was completely
completely filthy. And I'm not just talking about a couple tables throughout the restaurant went uncleaned for a little bit, so they had crumbs and stuff like that left behind. You know, I'm not talking about that, or like the regular grime you might see around the ovens before they get cleaned and stuff on night shift. It went much further than that. It was awful. The bathrooms in this place were absolutely filthy. They were unmaintained. They were just, oh my god, the place was just disgusting from pretty much the entrance all the way into the back of the restaurant. So I remember there was this one hallway that led back out from the grill. It would go out around towards the station where they made the desserts, but this hallway extended from the dessert area all the way to the back of the store into a door that completely left the building out the backside. And it was like an open hallway because the room on the right was where they did all the dishes and stuff, so it wasn't like completely open. There was like racks and stuff where they would put the dishes and things like that kind of prevented it from literally just being one big open room. But this hallway was maybe 5 or so feet wide. It was big enough to where like you could get supplies and stuff through the back of the store because there was a freezer on the left side of it as well, so it wasn't the biggest hallway, but it also wasn't the smallest one. But this whole hallway was completely filled with garbage bags of all the things that they had been throwing out of the back of the store. They would literally pile up against the sides of this hallway. On top of that, there was a bunch of empty boxes that constantly laid there. Considering that was also a fire exit for the employees, that was probably a huge violation for fire code and things like that. But yeah, one time it was so bad that the door was inaccessible because there was so much garbage that was just laying down this hallway. The bags easily tore because people were throwing more bags of shit back there. There was old expired goods and stuff that they didn't sell that got thrown back there. The boxes would tear and rip these cheap little bags. So there was old food laying back there too. You could have slipped and busted your ass pretty much at any time. The whole kitchen was pretty much coated in grease, which was odd to me considering that, you know, you're supposed to keep that kind of stuff clean. The floor tiles were filthy. When you looked down at them, you could see like French fries that had been stepped on and mashed in between these little, you know, these little tiles and stuff in the floor. Hamburger toppings laid all over the floor around the grills and things like that. Very seldomly was ever cleaned. In 2 weeks there, I can't remember one time where an employee stepped back, cleaned everything up and made sure that, you know, the place looked semi-professional. And on top of that wasn't a filth trap, that was also a health violation. The place just stunk, which is weird because restaurants usually should smell good, especially if you're literally in front of the grills and everything at all times. But the place was just fucking horrible smelling. The whole place just smelled constantly, like almost like a library. But the further you got towards the back, the worse it smelled because of all this trash piled up and stuff. The freezer where they kept a lot of the toppings and stuff for the desserts primarily, and also some ice cream and stuff like that, was also filthy because we'd have these big bags where we would basically go and we'd refill like the candy and stuff to put in the actual desserts. And there would be like little Reese's pieces and shit laying all over the floor. They'd be all stepped on and crunched. It was just, the whole place was disgusting. I think a lot of the time people go to restaurants and they expect it to be completely clean because there's a lot of regulations you're supposed to follow, and you're supposed to follow all these strict rules and guidelines, but you know, it's not always the case. I enjoyed eating at this place a lot before, but after I worked there and I saw firsthand the filth that place completely entailed behind the scenes, and even in view of the customers, I mean, the bathrooms, like I said, were just horrible. You know, I had realized that that was not a place I wanted to ever attend again. I'm actually afraid to say what place this is because I don't know if I can be held liable legally or anything for saying anything like this and coming out with this story. I have no clue about that kind of shit. Might as well not risk it. But the second job that I held wasn't even a bad job, honestly, and this was at a Little Caesars, and I worked here for about 3 or 4 months over the summer, just before my YouTube channel actually took off, and you know, like I said, it wasn't a bad job, but there was a lot of horrible experiences with this job. Unlike the first place that I worked at, we kept this place relatively clean. I remember, especially because I worked at the dough station a lot, I'd press dough, and then I'd put it in pans with cornmeal and stuff, get that ready so they could make pizzas and keep them going. But I remember if there was too much cornmeal, if there was too much flour, or there was anything on the floor, anything like that, you know, you had to stop what you were doing. Somebody would move around and they would like kind of pick up your job for you, but you had to clean the area and basically make sure that the place wasn't disgusting. Every night when you closed, there was a strict maintained cleaning procedure. We mopped the entire building from front to back, pulled up all the rugs, mopped under those, moved all the chairs around, cleaned all the stations out, made sure all the dishes were completely cleaned, all that stuff, right? It was a pretty clean restaurant, I will say. The managers there actually did care about the place and the cleanliness of it, and I have to give them a lot of credit for that. But one of the just most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life was when I was working there, and I was pretty new at this point, but while working at the dough station, literally if you look to the left, you could see all the way out past like the ovens that they kept them in after they'd cooked, the like microwaves as I would call them pretty much, and you could see the little sliver that comes behind the counter and everything and back into the kitchen itself, and there was a soda machine against that wall. Where, like, if you went in and you got your food, basically right by the windows and doors, there was this big thing full of 2 liters and, of course, individual sodas and things like that. That way, it would basically entice you as you're walking out to kind of get something to drink. So, you could see that machine, you could see when people were at it, things like that. Well, one time this guy and his very small daughter walked in, and they had gotten their order and everything, and this girl was probably, like, maybe 4 years old. She wasn't very old, she wasn't, like, 15 or anything. She was just kind of, you know, exploring, I guess. That's what little kids do. They often don't know any better, but this guy wasn't paying very good attention to her. She walks over here, opens this thing up, and she pulls out a bottle of water out of this machine, a little individual bottle of water, and she starts chewing on the lid. Keep in mind, she doesn't open it or anything. This guy's not paying attention. He's paying for the food and stuff like that. But she's standing here with this thing, and she's chewing on it. She's slobbering all over it. It was disgusting. I have to be really honest. It was gross. And she actually chewed the hell out of that cap. I was surprised that a little kid could do so much because we ended up having to throw it away, obviously. But yeah, she destroyed this bottle, basically. But I can't blame the child that much because obviously it's a little kid, man. You can't expect them to know that kind of stuff's wrong. And this guy turns and he sees that she's chewing on this water and he freaks out a little bit, starts yelling at her. He takes the water from her, and instead of like giving it back to like an employee or something to throw away, he kind of just like literally opens the thing back up and puts it back. And I watched this whole thing happen. Okay, from the moment that this little girl picks this bottle up out of there, her chewing on it and everything, and then putting it back. Well, this guy putting it back. I wasn't doing anything at the time. I already had my job pretty much done for the next 20 or 30 minutes. I was just kind of cleaning my station, and I looked over to the left, and yeah, it was horrible, man. Yeah, this guy literally tried to pull a fast one and put this bottle back, and it was disgusting, and nobody noticed at first, and I stepped up because I didn't want someone to get that. That was disgusting. Someone could have gotten in trouble or someone could have gotten fired if that had stayed in there. So I stepped up and I said, you know, that little girl just chewed all over that water bottle and put it back in there. So an employee ended up taking it out and throwing it away after they saw the chew marks and stuff on it. On top of that, the thing was literally coated in slobber, so it was pretty obvious that that little girl had done so. And yeah, we had to throw that away, which probably didn't make or break the profit margins of the store, but yeah, that was disgusting. And it kind of showed you really the level of intelligence and courtesy and overall just common sense, really, that the customers of this place often had. I live in a pretty shitty city, I'm not gonna lie, and a lot of the customers who came in this place were just not really the best people who could be coming into the store. So people came in there filthy all the time, people came in there and started shit all the time. The customers in that place were not the best. And even to this day, I go in there and get pizza every once in a while with my friends, especially when, you know, we smoke a little bit. So we go in there and we get a cheap pizza, bring it back, and, you know, feast our fucking asses off. But yeah, that kind of leads into the last horror story, really. We've really talked about the disgusting elements of working in restaurants and customer service and things like that, but this also happened at that Little Caesars job, and this is when actually, just right before I quit, actually. So it was literally like my last 2 weeks of working there. They were training me to use the cash registers and stuff. I'd been there for a few months. They wanted to teach me that position that way because the store liked to maintain everybody at that position where everyone knew every job in the store, whether it was making the dough, flattening the dough, actually making the pizzas, cooking them, cutting them, boxing them, customer service, dishwashing, the whole 9 yards. They wanted everyone to know that stuff. That way they could easily rotate everyone throughout the store depending on the store's needs, who was calling off, things like that. They kept a pretty good, I guess, schedule. And then on top of that, kept a good rotation of people who knew what they were doing in the store. So I was learning the cash register, which isn't a complicated job at all. Really, the hardest part about customer service is not punching people in their mouth when they talk to you a certain way, but literally within like a week. And I only worked the cash register like 4 or 5 times, okay? in these 4-hour shifts. I wasn't working like 12 hours a day or anything like insane, right? I had my life threatened a few times. I had people threaten to wait until I was off work and fuck me up in the parking lot. I had dirtballs come in the store and literally try to steal from the store. I had people call the place trying to get free pizzas. I had people come in who sneezed and coughed all over the fucking place, wouldn't cover their nose and their mouth. I had people come in and basically give their orders, completely screw it up, and then of course it's your fault when they do it wrong because, well, they could never do anything wrong. How could they ever forget to ask for extra cheese on their pizza? Even though you literally have a written record of the entire order, considering you write the ticket down and then send it back to the pizza making station. So, the worst time I ever had to deal with anything really was, I was working up at the cash register, and we always have two in case the place gets extremely busy, right? And we were working up there. There was another guy working up there with me because it was a Friday. The place was completely fucking packed almost at all times. The place did pretty good business, especially on Friday night. Everyone's getting off work. It was a great night. Everyone, obviously, you know, they didn't want to cook on Friday nights. They go get pizza, bring it back to the family or whatever. Completely respectable. I understand it. You know, I do the same thing too. But these three jackasses walk in the store. And the moment they walked through the door, I already knew it was going to be a problem. You can look at most of these people, especially the ones that start some shit, and you can tell exactly which ones they are. Pieces of shit here, you know, the big guys who are always going to do something. They never walk in, and they're never like just one person. They walk in as four, and they all just kind of come in as a pack. They inconvenienced literally everybody around them. So these 3 or 4 dudes walk in. 4 of them all walked in at the same time, but one kind of sat down and chilled out, so I don't even know if he was actually part of their group or if they just knew him. A lot of people in that area knew each other. But 3 of them walk up pretty much to the cash register, and they somehow knew the guy who I was working with up front. They had no clue who I was. I had no clue who they were. And they see this dude, and they just start all laughing. And they, I knew right there, I was like, oh Christ, you know. So my coworker, he decided that, he was gonna kind of escalate the situation. He asked them what was funny, and they kind of like start arguing and shit, talking about how bitch-made each other are and how, you know, they're afraid to scrap and fight and whatnot. And, you know, I had no clue what was going on. I was just staying out of it. It wasn't any of my business, you know what I'm saying? I was just kind of there observing the whole thing happen. But yeah, they're sitting here arguing, talking about all this stupid shit that they had going on, but probably before I even worked there, because whatever reason, you know, you gotta bring your personal vendettas into the local Little Caesars when you're spending $10 on 2 cheap-ass pizzas. But then they decide that they're gonna start shit-talking me, and they start shitting on me, and, you know, honestly, I don't really care, you know? I'm not one of those dudes who has to let his nuts hang and, like, flex big shit, you know what I'm saying? I don't really care what people have to say about me. I just kinda ignored them, because at the end of the day, what does it matter, dude? Like, am I gonna step out and fight in the parking lot with these 3 dudes who would probably jump me in the first place over a job in which I was literally making minimum wage? That's just stupid. I don't have to let my nuts hang. You know, I'm man enough to just kind of mind my shit and pick my fights. So I'm like, whatever, man, just get the fuck out, you know? That's pretty much what I said. I didn't say get the fuck out because that would have probably gotten me fired, knowing that these dudes probably would have called management or corporate or whatever and had that whole thing reported. But I was like, just get out, dude. You got your shit, go on. And of course, oh, really, bro? Oh, what time you get off? What time do you get off work, bro? Which car's that out front? And, you know, it's just at this point, it's like, shut up, dude. I'm sorry, bro, but you're not scaring anyone in a Little Caesars, dude, okay? There's nothing here that I am willing to fight you over. I'm sorry. And let's be 100% honest, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, the weakest people, the ones who aren't actually gonna fight or do anything, or the ones who are actually the pussies, who have to jump and scrap and shit, are the ones who run in packs and run their mouths all the time. You don't see anybody who can handle their shit. You don't see a real man ever walking around starting shit with people, running his mouth. So I wasn't even worried about him. So, you know, after I basically didn't give these guys shit back and just told them to get out, they did. After I stopped giving them attention, and they decided to get up out of the store and go back to wherever the hell they came from. So wasn't really that much to worry about at the end of the day, but I dealt with that multiple times within a 2-week span. I must have just sucked at being a cashier or something. But the funny thing is one of them actually, he tried to flex on me by saying, I used to work here, bro. I know everything that goes on back there. I was like, okay, you know, congratulations, bro. You have completely scared me. You know what goes on in the back of a Little Caesars, man. You know that we make pizza, we wash the dishes, and yeah, that's what goes on in the back of the store. Thanks for letting me know that you used to work here and you're now in here flexing nuts at your old job while you are wearing $30 on your entire outfit trying to flex how rich you are and how big and bad you are. You know, it wasn't anything really to worry about, but I think people really kind of underestimate how shitty working in fast food is. and they give them a lot of crap and stuff that they don't deserve. But these are a few of the horror stories that I had while working in fast food. A lot of the just worst times, really, the dumbest things that have happened kind of stuff. This is shit people have to deal with on a regular basis in fast food, man. That's why I don't give them a hard time, especially if they, you know, do something wrong or they take a little bit too long on my food and stuff, because I've worked in that job. I know how shitty the pay is, and I know how horrible the job experience is, and just how bad it is in general to have to work in fast food. So be nice to fast food employees, man. This is the kind of things they have to deal with pretty much on a daily basis. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy it, as always, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel. Follow me over on Twitter at @Optimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. Join the Discord down below. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously, and on top of that, these videos are one of your best perks. If you're enjoying these storytime content videos and things like that, make sure to become a member to get them early and to get to choose on what topics come up. You can do so by hitting the join button down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, never going back to work in fast food again, and signing out. Alright, what's going on, guys? So, you're gonna notice the gameplay in this video is different, obviously. I'm trying to switch things up a little bit when I come on here and make videos. I don't want them only to be Call of Duty gameplays from now on, so I'm actually investing a little bit of money into retro consoles, different types of games and stuff like that. That way I can get a pretty decent variety of different types of gameplay. So, I actually went out and bought a GameCube. I just want to let you guys know, you guys might have been a little bit weirded out by not seeing COD. Just want to let you know. Anyways, thank you to my channel members. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in because this is the first video they got to see early, so my channel members get to see storytime videos early due to their $5 a month helping support my content, so thank you to you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the story. Anyways, so I've always been like really infatuated with the idea of business. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always really enjoyed just, I don't know, I don't know what it really is about it. I don't know if it's the idea of owning something that's yours, or if it's the independent aspect of I get to run my own thing and I get to make money doing what I want to do. I'm not really sure what it's always been, but I mean, ever since I was a little kid, man, I've just always been really business-minded, man. I've always wanted to run and start a business, and I guess I kind of do with my YouTube, but I don't really consider it like a business. So one of the first businesses I ever ran, which, shocker, I've ran many, was a duct tape wallet little organization. Now, I was in about, I think, 5th grade when this happened, so I was like 10, 11 years old when this whole thing was going down, and I don't even know where I got the idea behind it. I think I was probably just watching YouTube videos or something, and I just stumbled across duct tape wallets and was just completely mind blown by the idea that you could do something like that. Jesus Christ, what, that's the wind? Jesus, dude. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was about that whole thing, but I decided that I was going to start my own duct tape wallet enterprise. So I had this friend in middle school back when I wanted to start this whole thing. We'll call him Bob, okay? So, Bob, he might have been the one who introduced me to the idea. I have no idea. I can't remember really every exact detail about it, but I don't know. We're talking about it. We realized that, hey, this might be something that we can make some money off of and do literally whatever with. At that age, probably buy video games or Pokemon cards or just something, you know? And we'd been throwing this idea around, and eventually we talked to our parents about it, and, you know, they weren't gonna be like, okay, you little morons, you know, you're not wasting my fucking money by, you know, buying all this duct tape and doing something ignorant. Duct tape is relatively inexpensive, I guess, especially considering you could make a decent amount of these products with just one roll of duct tape. And the good thing about the duct tape wallets was that they were super customizable. Like, you could make pretty much any size wallet you wanted. You could have as many card slots as you wanted. Duct tape, if you guys have ever seen duct tape, which I'm assuming everyone has because, well, duct tape is everywhere. You know, there's like 70,000 different colors, designs, patterns, all kinds of stuff on these duct tape rolls. And plus, we kind of knew how to make them. Like, we'd been watching YouTube videos about it and stuff, so we kind of had a basic understanding on how to make these products and stuff. Was very easy to make, was inexpensive, like I said, super customizable, and it was something we knew how to do. So at the age of 10, and with like $20 from your parents, that's my small loan of $1 million. I'm on my Donald Trump art of the deal shit here. You know, we went and got some duct tape. Now, for anyone who's ever owned a business, you realize that you have to invest money at the beginning, right? There's a
general startup cost, and it's usually expensive, and when you're like 10, $20 just out of the random to start this duct tape wallet business isn't just something that you're gonna just pull out. So we got this quote-unquote loan from our parents, aka here's $20 to make you shut up, and yeah, we ended up getting a little bit of duct tape, and we just went right from there, man. So we were kicking around names, right, because obviously you have to have a name for your business, and we decided we were going to use the creative name, like the ultra creative name of Duct Tape Wallet Incorporated. And in reality, it's not a terrible name. I mean, it's not like super catchy or anything, but it describes the product and the service pretty well. So from this point, you know, we kind of had the ball rolling. This was really it. So we started making some of these wallets and stuff, and we didn't only make wallets, I should add. We made little like coin pouches, we made wallets, we made all kinds of stuff. We didn't make anything like ridiculous out of it because obviously we didn't want to waste up all of our duct tape, and a lot of it we just simply didn't know how to do because we were 10 years old and we were like dumb pieces of garbage basically. But yeah, we just kind of started off, and with that $20 that we had gotten, we just kind of kicked things off. And I'm not gonna lie, the duct tape wallet and other product services they're not in high demand in Central Ohio. We didn't do very much marketing research, so we weren't advertising at all. The only advertising we really had was some Facebook page and like word of mouth from our parents, like making fun of us behind our backs probably. So we didn't really end up doing much right off the jump, and I don't know how discouraged we had gotten because even like 2 months later we were still doing it. I don't know if we had just decided that it was gonna work out one day and that we were gonna have a global conglomerate that was based around building duct tape wallets. I don't know how hyped we were about it, but we had a bunch of these products, and they were pretty shabbily made. I'm gonna be really honest. I think I actually still have one of the wallets. I don't know where it's at. I wish I could find it because we made our own wallets and stuff too. If I could find that someday, man, I'd like to have that. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, we just had all these products kind of just sitting around, and then, you know, we started getting a little bit of actual support. I remember on the Facebook page we had gotten a message from some random dude we'd never met before, which when you're 10, that's, you know, we didn't think that one through. And he wanted to buy one of these wallets for his wife or something because apparently she liked this crafty shit or whatever. Apparently women like crafts, and like apparently there is a market for like middle-aged moms and stuff where they'll just buy the most useless shit just because it's made out of like an inferior yet different kind of material. Like I remember going to a couple festivals, there was these straw grass baskets that were made in some third world country being sold by these people who were claiming to give all this money back to these people, but I mean, when you're selling a grass basket for $80, I simply don't think that's the case. But yeah, apparently there's a market for that, and that was basically our first customer, and he was gonna buy one of our wallets. Now that I think about it, okay, we need to do a little bit of math here. Okay, let me look up how much a roll of duct tape is. Duct tape. Okay, so duct tape is $3.50 for a regular little roll of it, it looks like, and this is in the red. We made a lot of the red ones actually. Red, teal, blue, and black was what we used a lot of. Okay, so like $3.50 for a roll. We probably made about 6 or 7 wallets a roll, so if we even priced these wallets at something like decent, like $3, okay, if we got 7 wallets out of it at $3, you know, we would make $21 off of a roll of duct tape, which is an $18 profit margin, which that's decent, you know, that's a pretty decent profit margin when you're kids and you didn't invest any of your own initial money. Keep in mind that like 20 bucks or whatever we had invested, that's barely gonna cover for it. And the reason it would barely cover for it is because we weren't really getting very much business, so we weren't selling these at $3, keep in mind. I don't know what we were thinking, but apparently we thought a duct tape wallet was worth $10, which means if we had been selling 7 of these wallets on a $3.50 roll of duct tape, we're talking like $70, which is like a $67 or $66.50 profit margin, which was ridiculous. Okay, so I don't think we ever ended up selling this dude the wallet because it was some random dude, and I'm pretty sure if we went to our parents like, hey, can you drive me to this dude's house to sell him a wallet? He's 47 and he's apparently buying it for his wife. I'm pretty sure my mom probably would have just smacked me in the mouth. Anyways, you know, we did end up getting one of our uncles, I think, or aunts, one of them, to actually buy a bunch of our shit from us. And this was a huge order too. This was ridiculous. They bought like 3 wallets, 5 coin collectors or whatever we had made, or for whatever it was for change. It was insane. Like the total price ended up literally being like $65. Okay, so most likely we were gonna go through like a roll and a half of tape total, which is like $7, and then made 60. So we were gonna make some pretty good profit off of this, and we did. We sold that, we made that money. It ended up being 60 or 65 bucks. It was something pretty decent, you know. We pulled off with the bread. And at this point, dude, we felt like we had it all, man. We felt like we were a Fortune 500 company, Wolf of Wall Street, you know, I'm never leaving this business kind of shit. Like, this was the launch of my Microsoft, you know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, we split the money because we both put in pretty equal work, and that was the last customer we ever had. So we made our money back and more, okay? We turned this business a profit, a pretty decent profit. We both kind of peeled off with like 20 bucks individually after we had bought all our tape and whatnot. So, you know, we made a pretty, I guess, decent profit considering we didn't put any of our own money into it. 20 bucks to a 10 or 11-year-old kid, that's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? That's actually really decent. Because I know a lot of you are growing up now and your parents gave you like $50 a week and shit allowance and stuff. I didn't have that kind of stuff growing up. Like, if I wanted something, I usually would get it because my parents were really hardworking people. But I mean, I grew up in like lower to middle class, you know? We didn't just have money to just hand me $200 a month kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Just for doing nothing pretty much. Some of you were even making more. I know a dude who, when I was growing up, made like $100 a week. So he was making, what, $400 a month just to sit around the house. Like, we didn't get that, man. So if I had $20 in my pocket, dude, I could go to like Walmart, dude. I'd go buy me some Legos or something. I was really infatuated with Legos when I was around that age. Honestly, I still like Legos. They are pretty cool, but I mean, that to me was worth the investment, man. I peeled off with more money than I put into it. But after a couple of months of great service to the community and millions of happy customers globally, Duct Tape Wallet Incorporated ended up closing its doors. But hey, no reason to be sad. I have something I want you guys to see. So I was going through my old email account on Yahoo because I switched over to Gmail when I was like 12, and I went into the drafts and the sent mail and stuff just to see what I was saying, because I emailed my friends back in the day a lot, and I emailed my dad and my grandpa and lots of emails and stuff that I had sent. So I was going through all this stuff and I found the official contract for Duct Tape Wallet Incorporated, man. This shit was dope. I'm not gonna lie, I was so geeked when I found this, right? So, you're seeing it on your screen right now, okay? This is the official contract for Duct Tape Wallet Incorporated. And on top of that, the first message ever sent from the Duct Tape Wallet official email, which was my personal email, is, "Hello, it's Nathan," with like 80 exclamation points. "We are gonna be famous." Okay, so that was the initial statement that we had made on the business, right? Here is the contract. This contract states that the two major duct tape product companies of Springfield, Ohio. These companies both have copyrights of the year 2011, and the companies both state as your company, Duct Tape Wallet Incorporated, and ours. Oh, wait a minute, dude. Oh yeah, I forgot. We ended up merging our duct tape companies. Yeah, I had my own for a while here. Nathan and Blank's Duct Tape and String. Signing this contract legally states that the ongoing offer between us has been declared as an accept. Accepting this contract will be said law until the peak of the contract's end. If you do not accept this contract, it will not become law. So if we were to tell you that we have not been doing our part of this contract, but you have declined the offer or said contract, it will not matter on your part because you've not agreed to sign or make the contract law. Details. The details state that between the two of us, you will sponsor us and us you. Ends October 31st, 2013. This is on March 29th, 2011, man. Jesus. I probably got off the computer and went and played Call of Duty Black Ops 1 after this, man. But yeah, okay, so apparently we ended up merging these businesses and sponsoring each other or something. But yeah, I didn't remember that whole part. But yeah, I found this. Man, what a gold mine of my childhood, man. So yeah, I mean, that's really the story, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here. Follow me on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. Join the Discord down below. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. Keep in mind that if you do enjoy the storytime videos, you will see them early as a channel member. Just a little bit of an incentive. However, you don't have to be a channel member to see all of my content, you know what I'm saying? And until my next video, guys, thank you for watching. This is Optimus, running his conglomerate duct tape wallet company, and signing out.